Today is September 5th, 2018, Wednesday. Get ready for the Emergency Broadcast System, the Forbidden History Series, What They Didn't Want You to Know, But We Tell Right Here. Now time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Lynn and Ya. Good to have you both. We now interrupt your normally scheduled programming to bring you this very important deprogramming program. And special thanks to YouTube.com for hosting the Forbidden History Series. Please note that the following views, any opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society. Nothing here is ever to be construed as medical, hate, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the realpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and up and coming 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network, streaming around the world, because it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Stand by for the broadcast. Coming to you live from Studio Z at the Lighthouse in Central Ohio, in the heart of Amish country, and Free America Radio Network in the land of dreams, enchantments, and nightmares. It's the Forbidden History Series, what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, the great lies of history, the ABCs of light, the duality revealed in pictures and patterns in nature, symbolism, a movie review. We've got one today, and a book review, and the piracy of words, the words that they killed us with, the words that they killed. It's all right here, ladies and gentlemen, because we are the deprogramming program. Your deprogramming will now begin, because it is the battle for the mind. The light is truth, but darkness is ignorance. There's nothing there. It's empty. It's void. It's the grand illusion. And these are the great antagonists, the one against the other. So what are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? You going to eat that proverbial red pill? Well, I hope you do. Good morning, Ash. Because once we can begin to comprehend the true nature of things as they really are, then we can begin to comprehend that there is nothing more to complain about. It's just simply coming to terms with the reality that seems so dim, ladies and gentlemen. It's a crying shame a bunch of psychopaths had to destroy our world, but they've been doing it from the beginning of time. They enslaved mankind. They only have one motive in mind, that's to serve themselves and to leave you empty and hanging dry. For of all things that great civilizations can create, the only thing that they cannot create is the light. And you don't know what you don't know until you listen in. So welcome to any new listeners out there. Stand by for that broadcast, because the best way to identify the truth is to identify the great lies of history. Well, there's that blue pill. You can just throw that thing away, Lynn. I can't go back, okay? I know too much. And thank you, though, for the offer. I've thought about it quite a bit, but no, it's just too powerful to know the way it really is. And the bigger the lie, you know, the more the people are inclined to believe it. I can't get over it. I don't believe anything. I deal with knowing. And we can know, ladies and gentlemen, but if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. Good luck. In the beginning is the Word, and the Word is the Shavor. That's the original thought, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Indo-Germanic Aramaic mother tongue. The Shavor is the Savior, the royal center, the shower, the sower, the flaming sword. It is the word. That is the original word for the original word, ladies and gentlemen, right there. The royal center. It's all there. And they crushed him. Of course, in Greek it says logo, so that's a symbol. So what's the difference? One says, the Greek says symbol, and then the English says word, but it's war. It's a code for war. And O-W-O-R-D, just change the O to an A. You got war. See? They waged war on you and I, ladies and gentlemen. And, it takes a million lies to cover the first lie, but that's what we're going to do, is uncover those first lies, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm your host, Desert Owl, a bird who sees in the night, and want to welcome any new listeners out there, okay? So, and it is easier to lie to people than it is to convince them that they have been lied to. I think that was one of those psychopaths who made that statement, and therefore I'm not giving credit to anybody on that, all right? And yeah, that's right. History is a set of lies that have been agreed upon in advance. That's Napoleon Bonaparte. He was an insider. Then he got spoon-fed at the end of his days, didn't he? Yeah, they put him out to pasture on an island somewhere, said, go fishing, Napoleon, pretend leader. You bought into the lie and the fiction. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Ash is asking prayers, please. I have STY on left, a sty on the left eye, and it hurts so bad that I have a heat patch on. Okay, Ash, let's get better, okay? And everybody put her up in your supplications today to be well. And so yeah, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Another notch on the tree, on the bark of the tree that we are going down. And the big tree is going down. That's what it represented in the movie Avatar. When they cut the big tree down, the big tree was all life on Earth. They were telling us in the movie Avatar is the original word for prophet, but it was abbreviated in this pseudo-Sanskrit. It's abbreviated Avatar, but it's really the navigator. The navigator, meaning the one who knows the way back. They needed the navigator, and that was always the priest. He had the inside information. Captain of the ship was just taking orders. He's only captain of the ship, but the navigator is captain of the world, the priesthood. Okay? And so it's always a switch out, and we just think that priest is there for religion. Oh, Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells you so, and I'm here to spread peace and love. When actually the word mission, when they set up all their missions around the world, like in California, Mission San Juan, San Jose mission, and all the missions. Mission is a military code word on how they are going to conquer and maintain slavery of you and I in the world and our babies. Okay, so we have to be set free, and the only way to be set free is to true knowledge, and that's a hard thing to go out. Scripture says to buy truth and sell it not. And yet truth is elusive, because we virtually see it anywhere. We see a little touch on it, tip of the finger touching it, but then still the truth is far greater. Part truth, part lies. That's what we've been getting, So so anyway, I had to finally put up the do re mi for the movie Geostorm. I can't get over to for not even going to a movie house and just going to Amazon. I can watch a movie, and it was $12. I can't get over it. $12, and I had to, because it's relevant to what we're going through. The price wasn't the issue. I had to see this movie because I knew they'd be given some kind of code words in there, and a theme that is relevant to our drama or dilemma here today, ladies and gentlemen. And so I did watch it, and I've got some voodoo and hoodoo right in there. Let me turn on a little light, okay? And so we'll try to unravel the mystery. So in the movies, there's always like a duality of theme, and it's like just a story, just an interesting story, but at the same time, there's the subliminal messaging. Okay, no, Pope is not. Well, you could say the the Pope is navigating. That would be correct, Ninja, but he's claiming to be the symbol of the sun. He's claiming to be of the light. The navigator is the original word for prophet. Okay, so prophet is the navigator, now, that which came down, and knows the way, the ve, navigator, the sun, the power and the fire of the sun. He knows the way. He came down from the light. These are the sky gods, and they follow the stars. They are the ones who know the secrets of navigating on these waters on the planet, and whether we're talking spiritual or whether we're talking navigation, because that's where the word ended up. Navigation is the original word for prophet, you see, and the word prophecy would be navigation, like that. Okay, so but anyway, so in this movie Geostorm, it's interesting because it takes place in 2019. So normally, when they show us a movie, it's not like next year. When do they ever give us a movie and then they use the next year, right? It's like either 20 years in the future or 50 years in the future or 100 years in it. But no, this is the time of the Geostorm is 2019. You think they're trying to tell us something? 2019, next year. Okay, and I'm amazed at these B-rated movies. They used to really make an effort to make good movies. Mel Gibson can make a movie, but these movies that are telling the themes. They're just like they just pull these actors together, and it's such a, or it's just I haven't watched it in so long. I can't get sucked in, especially emotionally to this stuff, but nonetheless, Geostorm takes place in 2019, and so with this, the bottom line is, for those who haven't seen it, there's all of this up in space. They got all of these pre-positioned satellites in geosynchronous orbit around the world, can literally turn on a light bulb or turn it off at any point, and create heat, create winter. Bring in water. And so the whole idea was, the benevolence. We're here to save mankind. America is here on the top of the pyramid with, who was it? China, of course, China. Yeah, they love us to death too, don't they? They literally murdered their people. That any one of them that would claim spirituality, they're gone. They're gone. And so, yeah, America and China are here to save mankind. Give me a break. And they're in control basically of this, with the other nations. The other nations of the world are participating in it, but they do indicate it's America and China at the top. Okay, and so then there's the evil guy in there in the movie, and his name was Deckham. Oh yeah, I love that. The evil guy who's really behind the sinister plot. He's called Deckham. Do you think like maybe it's somebody going to punch you out? I think I need to deck them, right? And how funny. And but there's a meaning to it, and I'll get to that. All right, there is a meaning to it. I saw it. So so anyway, the entire system is called Dutch Boy. What a funny name, right? What a funny name. Like, oh, give me a break. Okay, does he have his little shorts on and his suspenders? The Dutch Boy. Give me a break. It's Dutch for Deutsch. Okay, the Dutch boy is the Germans. The German code, the German, it's not the original word, but it means the seed of light. That's an implication of the germ. The germ is the seed, right? And this is why so many of the Khazars came out of Germany and Yiddish. They speak in Yiddish in Germany because it is a primary enclave, and then Poland and all the surrounding areas of Europe were the enclaves. France of the Khazar Jews. Okay, so this is the mix. It's like a soup, and you've got to know where the flavor comes from. And so Moon means like seed of the moon, but at the same time they regard themselves as the sky gods, the Aryans as the sky gods. So Dutch boy is nothing other than a code for Deutsch, which is German, and therefore is a code for Nazi. Okay, Nazi, code for NASA. NASA, code for Nazi. Good morning, Shelley. and glad you're here. And so what's interesting, and so then the entire project is called Project Zeus. Okay, and I'd have to go back and listen to it again because I can't make the distinction of how Project Zeus overlays with Dutch Boy, but it's all in the words. Okay, right? It's all in the words. There's Zeus. There's Jesus, Jesus, the healing Zeus, the great God, the Greek God Zeus, the supreme God, the one who had all power given unto him. Okay, the son of Jupiter, but yet the son of the Father, but yet the supreme God. Just another parallel to Yeshua, but yet they're calling it Project Zeus. So you know they're calling it according to an occultic tradition, okay? And it is classic that they would use Zeus because they put the wool over all of our eyes when they got us to follow Jesus, right? I mean we're all there, and then we have to come out and say, wait a minute, that's not the guy our elder brother's name. It's Yeshua, Joshua, Yeshua, Yeshulunva. If we go back all the way, you see. So it's layers of the onion. So Project Zeus and Dutch Boy. I mean, they're really, it's so obvious in this one, And so right at the beginning, and you know who the people are up in the space station because they got their little flags on their shoulder. And so as soon as one of the satellites come in, then the guy that's like acting like the secret agent, okay, he's got the Indian flag, the orange, the white, and the green. Orange for International Secret Societies of Freemasonry, also for the sunrise, the white for the stars up above, and the green for the money, and the emerald green, meaning it owns the earth. The emerald green symbolizes the earth. And so as I've been saying that the Hindus are at the head of this stuff, right? So the ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthood. And so what happens? The Hindu comes in, and he tells everybody else, oh, go on, get out. You don't, I can do this. I don't need your help. Go on. And so everybody leaves, and he's there by himself, and he goes in and he snatches the code. He snatches the I don't know, what it is specifically, the the little card that comes out, and he's got it, and he puts it in his pocket. And so whatever it is, it's either to steal information, but it's just the picture. It's just the picture of the fact that it's an Indian, it's a Hindu, and it represents who's running the world secretly, and then what happens to him? He puts it all in a safe file, and then he walks into a certain part of the space station, and he's sucked out. He gets killed, and it's just, I guess, a reminder to all their Hindu brothers, don't forget, if you don't do your job correctly, Bhagwan Gandhi Rashis is watching you, the all-seeing eye, and you will be sucked out. Your life will be sucked out of you. So do your job, okay? We Hindus are running the world from behind, the ancient Aryan Brahmin, and so, as I have said before, you will always see the element of the Hindu of India in all the movies. It's just like one little clip. Boom. Okay, you either saw it or you missed it, because that's the way they do it, because they're telling you who's really operating from the one world order from the beginning of time. They always were operating out of India. That's the land of the gods, right? I mean, what a cover. All religion. Yeah, who would think they'd be running the world, right? But it is the priesthood. And so it's been a long time doing this stuff. They perfected it. So in the movie then, there's the drama of saving the world because the virus was put into the system, and so there was going to be a geostorm when the system counted down, and they just had I don't know, a couple hours at one point when they figured out, and they thought it was the president who had the code, but it wasn't the president. In other words, the president wanted to have a disaster. Oh, it sounds like a false flag, right? Wanted to have a disaster in order to gain more control. More disasters, more control. But it turns out it was actually his aide, the secretary, the secretary, who's actually instituting the criminal actions, where people are getting knocked off, they learn the truth, and then they get killed. And so So his name is Decum. And so I realized that the word dec is the word for 10, just like in Syria or Shemeria, they have, you know, the what they call the Decapolis around the island of the Sea of Galilee, and it's, you know, you hear the term in our scriptures, the Decapolis. Well, they never tell you what it means, right? Decapolis means the 10 cities. Decapolis. So when we got Decum, well, now you can see dec is 10. The 10 Decapolis, the 10 cities, and Decum means 10. And so Decum, and M is a vowel corruption, so it means Om, and so it means the sound, perhaps, the sound of the 10, the sound of the 10. That's what Decum to me means. And so I realized that, you know, 10 is interesting because it's right in our face in the movie. And well, wait a minute, we had 9 and 11, but we didn't have a 10, right? We had 9, 11. And I always thought that was interesting that they bypassed the 10, you know, because it was just 9/11. And so yet you know, in the symbolism of 9/11, it's like this. I'm going to put it in here for you. Okay, so there's your 10s in the middle. There's your 9/11, and of course it creates Freemasonic symbols of you know, the compass and the square when you connect the X's together. And so there's your 9/11. But in the middle, you've got 2 10s, actually, if we just disregard the 1 digits. So what's the deal? Well, 9 is, you know, as you know, 6 is a symbol of the Fibonacci sequence. So 6 is the number of creation. Flip it over, you get a 9. So 9 means destruction, and that's what they gave us, is destruction of those Twin Towers. And 11 meaning a 1. At the primary code, 1 means a new beginning. Okay, but I always said that's interesting that they left out the 10, because 10 means judgment, right? And so there it is in the movie. What is the judgment? The judgment is that they are going to destroy the world with their geostorms, because they've already destroyed the ozone layer, and they've destroyed our food, they've destroyed our knowledge, they've destroyed, what have they not destroyed? You know, they're destroying the forest. They're burning up the forest because they need a good haze up in the sky to keep the UVC and B radiation in check, right? And so literally, okay, they're saying that 10 is the judgment. What is the judgment? Destruction. The 9, 10, 11. The 10 is there. It has to be there because in between 9 and 11 is a 10, and everybody knows it. So the 9, 10, 11. So the judgment is coming. It was just a little delayed because in 2001, that brought in their new age of phony light, of grandeur, right? And now the judgment is finally here. And they're telling us it's 2019. Well, interesting, because 2018 is a star. It's 3 6s. And if you remember, if you've been following, you know that 666 is the number of a star. And it also is the number of perfection. And aren't they perfect in their criminal behavior? Aren't they? Perfect in what they can do to destroy our world. Computer is 666 also, because a computer is a star, is it not? It's all connected to a giant hub. And in an instant, at light speed, we get our information. You see? So how, I'm reminded again how Confucius says, signs and symbols rule the world, not law, not words nor law. Signs and symbols. And so that's how you read it, ladies and gentlemen. And so I think you'll get a better picture. It's not over though. Hang on. And so at the end of the movie, of course, it looks like the good guys win. You know, they make it look like the good guys win. America, rah, 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 America. Yeah, at the last moment, America always comes through. Yeah, big lie. And so it is about the destruction, of course. And so what happens at the end? They transfer control back to the last words as the drama plays out. There's a little bit more at the very ending with the father and the daughter and all that, the lovey-dovey stuff. But at the end of the drama, what are the very last words? when they finally can enter the code just before the space station blows up, and the geostorm is created, and they stop it from happening down to the last few seconds, right? And the last words are transferring control back to NASA. Transferring control back to NASA. Who's NASA? NASA are the Nazaré. NASA are the Nazis. The Nazis are the Nazaré. That's the ancient Aryan sky gods, okay? The Watchers, the Vekoresh. That's who NASA represents. That's why they have the serpent tongue. You know, on their symbol, the logo of NASA, they have the snake, the tongue of the serpent, right? Of course. NASA, Nazaré. I should have pulled it up on my dictionary. I got a picture of it in there, but I don't want to digress. Maybe on the break, I'll go to a musical break and I'll see if I can pull it up. But and so what they're saying is that the sky gods, the ones who've been running the world from the beginning, we are now transferring control back to us. We are back in control because it's over. That's why aren't they burning up California with Project Bluebeam? Aren't they now, according to Deborah Travaris, now have these abilities to create these tsunamis? We already knew it when we saw what they did in 2011 to Japan. They create the tsunamis. They're trying to get everybody off the coast, so they're in holding pins, and they're just sucking the lifeblood out of our planet. It's ramped up. They're in full mode. Okay, it's they know we know, and they don't care because there's nothing we can do to stop them. Right? Only the people on the inside can do that. Only the people on the inside. If we have anarchy, if we have chaos, what are they going to do? They're just going to bring their guns in the street and round people up and put them in their prison camps they've already got built, waiting for us. Start cutting heads off, getting those Islamic extremists to want to happy to volunteer to run a guillotine. So, and then at the end, then the little girl. And she represents the woman, the occultic woman, the little girl. She's just a cute little girl now. She's not the blind goddess, or she's not representing the whore of Babylon or anything. She's just a cute little girl. And she acted so sophisticated. I couldn't get over this young lady and the words they put in her mouth at the beginning of the movie when she's talking to her dad. Always make the little ones disrespectful, disrespectful to their parents. And that's, like talking down to her dad, you jerk, you're a jerk, Dad. She should have said that, because she said it in every other way in the movie. They teach utter disrespect to our little ones through these movies, that. And so what did she say at the end? One planet, one people, we will survive. So there's the metaphor, just like it said, transferring control back to NASA, the Nazaré, one planet, one people, we will survive. So that's their message to their secret societies. We are one people and we will survive. They're not talking to you. They're not talking to me. They're talking to this underground society that's pulling the strings in the world for the Vatican, for their mommy. Okay. They love the tit because they get all the party they can have, Okay. So there's your geostorm, ladies and gentlemen. They're telling you 2019 sounds like the year. Okay, so we only knew it was going to get worse anyway, didn't we? Yeah, I hear you, Ninja. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a movie review. Yeah, I think I'll take that blue pill now. Lynn, still available? Oh, it's gone now. All right. Anyway, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to pull up the symbolism real quick out of the dictionary. And I'll just go to a song. I feel like I need to spell my voice for a minute. We're going to get into the book of Genesis again. We're doing a review. I just want to cover a little ground, but let me see if I can just break my voice. I'm trying to pace myself. And we do have Yah Love for a special read today on the original gospel. Okay, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Hope you're telling your friends. I know you're saying, where does Desert get this stuff, right? Well, I get it from them. What do you think? All right. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And I found it pretty quick. I'm getting good at this. I can't get over it. So we got, as you can see, if we bump up a little bit, right here in the middle, we got Naga right here. Okay, Naga, and Nagash, the serpent, the wise man. Also, a carpenter is a Naga, and Adam is the Naga, the first serpent mentioned in the scriptures. He was the serpent. He was tricking Eve. He wanted her, and therefore he had to tell a little lie. Oh, you know, yeah, don't worry, you won't die, honey. And the rest is history, right? So, so the serpent, the wise man, the carpenter, also. So then we look at NASA. Now Naga healer is what Yeshua was. They would have come up to him and said, Naga healer, pure breather of light, Naga healer and pure breather of light. Instead, they gave us the milk toast Lord. Oh, Lord. You think they called him Lord back then? You think they spoke Middle English? You think that Lord, you know, which actually means, according to Middle English, our mother who gives us our bread? Who's the mother who gives us our bread? She's feeding us her papal bull. That's India. The Hindus, ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthood who enslaved mankind. Okay, Naga healer, pure breather of light. And this is in the original gospel, by the way. Okay, this is the original gospel prototype that I have been working on, so you can get a sample. Just go to therealpublicradio.net, and then there's a PayPal button there, and when you make your any size donation, I don't care how big or small, just then you know, your email. I'll need your email. I can send it to you on PDF. But there's 100 pages of this dictionary, okay, in the back of it, 100 pages here. And so let's look at the Nagash. We're here now, okay. Okay. The Nagash, Nailgash. Nail means that which came down. That's where the word nail came from. The strike of the serpent coming down. And the Naga, or the Naga Sharfan. There's that word Sharfan, the shark fin, the serpent. That's the original word for serpent. And this is what they corrupted, of course, into Satan. But it is Sharfan. The T is silent. Sharfan. And so we can see the word when you in our modern time when they go surfing, they're riding the serpent. The Sharfan is the serpent, and the Sharfan is the shark fin. If they saw the shark in the water, they say shark fin. Shark fin. You see, it's primitive, but yet we have it in our modern time. That's the amazing part about how the Aramaic came all the way down, because they still keep these original primordial roots in our modern time, but they've just abbreviated them, and they don't teach us this in school. So how can we ever figure it out, right? It's only by divine revelation for me. It was I climbed a mountain one day, and when I came down, I saw everything differently. So the serpent tongue, you see NASA right in your face, signs and symbols rule the world, but you never noticed that forked tongue. You always thought it was a space sled or something, right? Going through outer space, but it's the serpent behind it. And so NASA, as you see, the S is the prime symbol of the sun. Suns and soul start with the letter S. So there you go. There's the evidence. And then, but if you change it to a G, another symbol of the sun, then you got Naga. There's the serpent, and they're showing you in the picture that they're serpents. You see, the Naga, the wise serpents, the avatars. That's why the avatars were blue in the movie. You see, they're claiming that they're the navigators. They're the ones controlling our destiny and our history. They're navigating us through these rough waters. Okay, and they've got to have a blood sacrifice in order to make mommy happy. You know, they're invisible mommy that doesn't exist other than in their minds and on paper, and in the men who wear dresses. So the Nagash, the serpent that comes down, that's what Nagash means. And what serpent came down? The Aryan Brotherhood, the Aryan Brahmin priesthood of psychopathic murderers, blood drinkers, profiteers, liars. They came down with a passion to kill everyone. Okay, so see fangs, gas pump handle. Yeah, the gas pump handle. When you go to the gas station, you're grabbing the what they call, you want some gas. That's the Nagash. You see, it's in the word, in the pump handle. Therefore, does it not represent a serpent? And you're going for the Nagash. You're going right there for the Naga, the Nagash, okay? And the very gasoline pump is a symbol of the serpent, and the gas is the Nagash, that which came down. What came down? The light, the power source, the energy, the sun oil we talked about the other day. You see? Even in the gas pump, I thought that was amazing when all this stuff was unfolding. It was also symbolic in the way the gas pump looks. It looks like a snake, and you open it up, and out comes the gash. The gash, that what came down. The light energy. Okay? And serpentine, Naga Nalzare. The strike of the serpent fire from the sun. Another aspect of the Nagash. See, Nile, the Nile is the nail, that which came down from deep up in the jungles of Africa. Rockets, G and S, are the prime symbols of the sun. Okay, and then and a whole lot more in here. So get a copy. Okay, if you don't have the funny money, just let me know and I'll get it to you anyway. Okay, that's all. Father gave it to me free, and I give it away if somebody can't help us out. We're trying to, get our publishing going, and we want to be able to get this. Well, the first book we want to publish is the Book of Wisdom. And that's another book we have available for any size donation, and it will. We want to get it to the people in prison. Okay, they need this. They're being housed and warehoused in prisons and just rotting in jail, and we need to help those people out. We were told to visit those in prison. So any donation you make goes to We Are All Doing Time, the prison outreach program. We Are All Doing Time. Okay, so anyway, there we are. And so before we get into the Book of Genesis, I just want to do a review that we normally do of the Nog. There's the Nog again. The Nag Hammadi came from the bend of the river in Upper Egypt again. Mitzrayim. There is no Egypt. It was Mitzrayim. Always was Mitzrayim up until 350 years ago when we got the King James Bible. So let me. I just got to turn off my air conditioner now. Hang on. I know you can see how difficult it would be to figure this stuff out, ladies and gentlemen, and that it is a miracle that the unfolding comes, that the eyes, my eyes were opened by our great Father through his pure only love seed, Yeshua. And so I'm so grateful, that he gave me eyes to see. And I know that he also gave me the job here of being able to then share it. Because what did he say? I give you a talent, you bury it under a rock. You're in trouble, boy, right? Bury it under a rock. Now I can't bury this knowledge under the rock. I've got to share it. That's my, my calling in life is to be able to share this with you. And I create light before the program and the different times in the day that all of you will be able to see with your own eyes, to see and read it for yourself, because it is transcending. It separates you from the world, and that's what we need, is to be separate from this world, because the world is the great lie. Okay, they want you to love the world, love the world, love the world, love everything, Yeah, Heat Cat, what's that, Heat Cat? Heat Cataclysm for the East Coast. Okay, yeah, thank you for that heads up. That's right, stay hydrated, friends, and the best water, is distilled water, but just make sure you have a good pH level on your water, no matter what water you drink, okay? Because some of the water is poison, it's alkaline, or no, excuse me, it's acid, it's not alkaline, and you need to have that pH balance right around a 7, give or take. But anything below 6 or down to a 5 is pert near poison. Okay, and some of that bottled water is no good. And Avian is one of them. You would think, oh, that beautiful word Avian, you know, but Avian is a poison. Okay, so you got to check the pH. I've already done it. So we're in the star message of Thomas, and in the star message of Thomas, we are in 14 of all the 114 sayings of Yeshua. Yeshua breathed to them, if you fast, you will bring darkness upon yourselves. And of course, here's a double statement, you know, because he said that we would fast after he was taken up. But Yeshua breathed to them, if you fast, you will bring, and here it says literally sin upon yourselves. And if you create light, pray, you will be condemned. And if you give to charity, you will harm your spirit. So clearly that, you know, this is not literally true, and there's a you know, some deeper meaning to it. And this is a problem with the poor translations. That this is why I'm reading this all to you as well, to show you that there are possible ways of correcting while you're reading and to get the picture. I'm going to continue on further because it continues. When you go into any region and walk through the countryside, when people receive you, eat what they serve you, and heal the sick among them. For what goes into your mouth will not defile you. Rather, it is what comes out of your mouth that will defile you. So just like the word charity, you see, is really the carrot eye. The carrot eye means your ability to see. And because you can see clearly, that's where the word charity came from, because you then want to help somebody who is down. You see, that's the charity. That's the carrot eye. It means you're looking. You can see with your heart. Okay, so if we're talking about looking, so if you give to the ability to see, then you will want. It may mean you want to do harm to your spirits. Why? Because you literally want to die when you see how tragic this world really is and what they're doing to little boys and girls on their sacrificial altar. Not to mention, you know, the other deviant things that they do to children of the world. There's so many boys and girls disappearing every day in our world, and it's all the occult, you know, and they even do it overtly through an organization called CPS, the greatest child kidnapping racket on the planet, CPS, you know. CPS, child profiteering scam, that's what it is. And they give those people so much money, they're literally brainwashed into having a party, you know, and doing it, selling out our friends and neighbors. So this is a deep one, and I'd have to compare it with the other translations to better able to interpret that one. So we'll let that one go, and next time we'll be on 15. So now we're in the other book in the Nag Hammadi, and it is the Star Message of Truth, the Star Message of Truth, and boy, is there some truth in here. I can't get over it. But most people have not probably ventured into it because they've only heard negative about the Nag Hammadi, and that's only because it's propaganda, because they don't want you looking in it, and that's why they also through the United Nations UNESCO team controlled the translation so that we would never ever be able to unravel it. That's why they never show us copies of the original script. It may be available on the internet now, but when it first came out, they never showed us copies of the original script. You know, so people, anybody could then transliterate it themselves. They want to control the narrative. Remember that. So we're in the section called The Appearance of Truth and Emanation of the Father. Truth appeared, and all its expressions confirmed it. Truth appeared, and all of its expressions confirmed it. They agree with the Father in the truth from the tree's root and power that is complete and joins them with the Father. Whoever loves truth, whoever touches the truth, touches the great Father's breath, because truth is from the Father's mouth. His tongue is the only true anointed pure great breath of light on the wind and wings of fire. The pure breath, the Holy Spirit, is his tongue. His tongue key. Tongue is tongue key. So his tongue key is the Holy Spirit. And from his tongue key, his tongue, one will receive the anointed, pure, great breath of light, the Holy Spirit, from his tongue. This is the manifestation of the great Father and his revelation to his new creation. His new creation. Here it's called eternal realms. You see, that's another code word. We never get it. His new creation is you and I. You see, we are the new creation. And he reveals the hidden self and explained it. For who has anything within, if not the great Father alone? We're made in his image, right? So therefore we've got something hiding in us that can allow us to transcend that spark of the great light. All the realm, all of the now here realms by itself implies then the creation, the people of the earth. All the realms came from him. All the creation came from him. They know that they have come from him as offspring who were within a mature mother, but who knew that they had not yet received their complete form or been given the new title or new name. Yeah, we came naked into the world, telling us there was something left that we needed to put on, and it had nothing to do with clothing. It had to do with the enlightenment. The great Father brings forth each one of them when they receive the essence of his knowledge. Otherwise, though they were in him, they could not know him. Okay? The Father brings forth each one of them when they receive the essence of his knowledge. And we pinned it down to the alphabet as the primary, didn't we? And it said it in just a couple of days ago in the preceding chapters, right? The alphabet is the foundation of that knowledge. The symbols are speaking. And then when you bring the symbols together, it creates a deeper thought and it unfolds. Otherwise, though they were in him, they then could not know him. The Father is perfect, and he knows every creation, every being within himself. If he wishes, what he wishes appears when he gives it form and a name, a title. And he does give it a title. He brings into being those who, before coming into being, were ignorant of the one who made them. I am not saying that those who have not yet come to be are nothing. They are within one who may wish that they come into being if at some future point he so wishes. On the one hand, he knows before anything appears what he will produce. On the other hand, the fruit that has not yet appeared knows nothing and does nothing. Thus each realm in the great Father comes from what is, but what has set itself up is from what is not. From whatever has no root has no fruit. Well, then there's only one root, and that's in our great Father, is it not? For whatever has no root has no fruit. And that's why the occult are a dead tree, because they have no root. They come from the seeds of darkness. We come from the light. The primary root is the sun. That is the main root, the tap root. Okay, so for whatever has no root has no fruit, and although thinking, I have come into being, it will perish by itself. People are down here just to have a party, and they have no idea the potential they have hiding within them. So whatever does not exist will never exist. And the people are in outer darkness where there's the weeping and gnashing of teeth. They have no relationship with the Father in the outer darkness. They have to be in the body of light, and that is Yeshua. What then does he want? Such a one to think? It is this: I have come into being like shadows and phantoms of the night. When the light shines, the individual knows the terror that has been experienced was nothing. The illusions of the world, what it's talking about, right? When the light shines, then the individual knows that the terror that they had been experiencing was simply the grand illusion, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the section, the appearance of truth and the emanations of the Father. And when we pick it up tomorrow, we'll be in ignorance is a nightmare, and that's a profound truth right there in itself. Ignorance is a nightmare. It would be pretty frightening to think about being there. And I'm so grateful for the knowledge that the Great Father has shined down on me. And I have one more, just one more, and I got to turn my air back on. Hang on. The heat has been building up in this house. Every day it's been 90. Yesterday was 91, and with that solar UV, it's intensely hot in here, and so it's been building up. And I'm glad tomorrow it's going to cool down. And so I'm going to try. I may have to wait one day, but I may tomorrow start our new program time at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time in order to accommodate Yah Love. We want to be able to get her, keep her on the program, of course, but for her read. But I may just be early again tomorrow, just to give this house one day to cool down. Because in the afternoon, I know it will be hotter, and so I'm just taking one day at a time. I apologize for any confusion over the schedule, but it's not easy when your air conditioner has gone out, the main air conditioner, and so I don't know if I'll be getting one. And okay, so I'm a little challenged here. So I just wanted to read about love in the Book of Symbolism, the Dictionary of Symbols by Cirlot, C-I-R-L-O-T, out of the Philosophical Library. Okay, and what a topic, huh? I mean, come on, love. We all like that one, don't we? Or maybe some people don't. Maybe some people don't. Do you think? Maybe there's a group of people out there that don't want to hear about love. Yeah, they couldn't handle it, I think, right? That's an interesting thought. They don't even know the meaning of love, of course. They just only know the meaning of greed and lust and self-gratification, and that's all they care about. That's their love, right? So love. Traditional symbols of love always express a duality in which the two antagonistic elements are nevertheless reconciled. Thus, the Indian lingam, that's the phallus, that's that phallus in India. They like to pour milk over all day and just massage it. What a tradition! I can't get over it. Thus, the Indian lingam, the Chinese yang yin, or even the cross, where the upright beam is the world axis, and the cross. I never thought about that, but the cross does also represent the phallus of creation and the obelisk. It represents the Egyptian obelisk, because what's in the middle? It's the straight beam. Okay, the cross beams just become a navigation symbol, but literally it's also the lingam as well, or even the cross, where the upright beam is the world axis, and the cross beam the world of phenomena. They are, in other words, symbols of a conjunction, or the expression of the ultimate goal of true love, the elimination of dualism and separation, uniting them in the mystic center, the unvarying means of Far Eastern philosophy. But when it talked about the duality, it certainly was talking about the higher love and the lower love, because that is the duality. There's two types. One is self-gratification, and the other one is the expression of love for everybody without anything in return. Okay, the rose, the lotus flower, the heart, the irradiating point, these are the most frequent symbols of this hidden center. Hidden because it does not exist in space, although it is imagined as doing so, but denotes the state achieved through the elimination of separation. So in other words, periodically we simply see the evidence of the divine love. But we can see it every day, certainly when we look at nature, right? And there's no aspect of nature that doesn't express it. Or just like he said, he lets the sun shine down on the perfect and the corrupt, right? On the good and on the blind. The biological act of love itself expresses this desire to die in the object of the desire, to dissolve in that which is already dissolved. According to the book of Baruch, that's one I've got to get. I gave it away. That also comes from artisanpublishers.com, a lost book. He worked with Jeremiah, the book of Baruch. Go to artisanpublishers.com and get a copy. In the book of Baruch, quote, erotic desire and its satisfaction is the key to the origin of the world. Okay, it should be the erotic desire. The erotic desire is and its satisfaction is the key to the origin of the world. There you go. That was the fall of mankind. You see, there's the confirmation right there. That's what he's saying. The fall was around the erotic desire. That's what it meant. Okay? I'm underlining this. It's the key to the origin of our world. Not of the world, but of our world. Okay? It's the key. Because that was the fall. Because Adam didn't care about what he was told. He said, hey, we're not going to die. Don't worry about it. I'm in control here. No, he's not. He lied. And Eve was naive and didn't know better. Disappointed, but she gets the blame, right? Of course, because she was symbolizing this lower creation, the mother that brings forth the life. Continuing. Disappointment in love and the revenge which follows it in its wake. The disappointment in love, well, it sounds like relationship right here, doesn't it? The disappointment in love and the revenge, there you go, which follows in its wake are the roots of all the blindness and the selfishness in this world. The whole of history is the work of love. Well, that is tongue-in-cheek, I think. The whole of history is also a work of psychopaths. So he's giving too much credit to the one side and ignoring the other that he was a part of. Because I know this is a Jesuit adjutant, not a priest, but a Jesuit adjutant. This guy was an artist, but he was a Jesuit in the club, you know. So the history is the work of love. Being seek and find one another, separate and hurt one another, and in the end comes acute suffering, which leads to renunciation, or to put it another way, Maya is, as opposed to Lilith, illusion balanced by the serpent. There you go. Illusion balanced by the serpent. Interesting. Interesting. Let me just underline that. Okay, illusion balanced by the serpent. And when we pick it up, we're going to be in the loved one. And so we got a couple more on love in there, but I'll just leave it there for now. And I think it's a good stopping point, halfway point. And I will pick up the presentation for the book of Genesis. I've got it marked where we left off. I'm going to define firmament when we get back. First thing, I did my my review today for that to have the better picture of that, because I had forgot some of my studies, you know. So I've got it now, and I'm going to share that part about it so that we can get the complete picture correctly. And we're going to a song, and y'all love if you want to come on down. We got a 3.5-minute song. Just take your time, and we'll see you on the other side. You are listening to the Forbidden History series, what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here every day, sometime when there is time. Sometimes we take off a day like yesterday. And on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. Hope you're all doing well out there. We're in uncharted waters on our planet. don't forget, if you are a Sky Watcher with the Sky Watch Report, or you know Great Lie history, or you just want to talk about a few words, you got the dictionary, you're checking it out, this is the place to bring it on, okay? Love to get a break and get a call. And Christina, good to have you. Well, thank you, Christina, thank you. And yeah, we're trying to make sense out of a psychopathic world. It's not an easy thing to do. Stand by. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on the Forbidden History series. Want to welcome any new listeners that are out there. And we're dealing with a very dire bit of information on this program every day. I'm talking about things I never imagined I'd be talking about, and things I definitely want to be talking about, and that's the shavors, the words, the burning swords of fire that are burning on the pages. That's the way they looked at them in the ancient expressions. And G33, Genesis, Gina, good to have you. Another way of spelling your name, very cool. Okay, and good morning to you too. Okay, and so we're dealing with the grand illusion that has kidnapped all of our writings, and the greatest of them all is the original gospel, which is misnomered as the Aquarian gospel. If you don't have a copy, just go to therealpublicradio.net/original_gospel.html. Okay, one more time. And you can, of course, on the recording, you can play this back. We're making this statement at 1 hour and 6 minutes into the program. Just remember that. And it is therealpublicradio.net/original_gospel.html. Then you'll see a bunch of trees, the light coming through the trees, sort of what it looked like when I was under that squadron of 30 UFOs, with that white heliarc light coming through. And then scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the free PDF download, okay? Free PDF download. And then the Aquarian 1919 reprint version is there. That'll take you to Amazon. And you can get that copy as well. Okay, so right now we're in section 8, Mem, symbol of letter M, and it's the ministry of John Yolganun. You actually have to work at these words because they're still foreign to me, and I'm still trying to get it in my head. So Yolganun, and the Little Star Operation Ministry is a Little Star. So it's the Little Star Operation, just like we have here. We have a Little Star Operation. They got all the money. We don't have any money, but we do get it done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. And so we're in the Little Star Operation of Yolganun the Herald. Okay, John the Harbinger, 61, chapter 61. And we have Yalov standing by from Cologne, Germany. Good to have you, Yalov. Thank you for stopping by again.
Yeah, hi. I'm your reader.
She's our reader. And how are things out there in your part of the world?
Today, everything is, it's so-called normal weather. We have like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 25 Celsius. And the sun is indeed, it feels like it's 30 degrees because it's so hot. I just came inside again. It was so strong burning. I really had to run in the shadow. And yeah, that's a strange feeling. You know, I don't know if other people realize that, but it is more. It feels hotter than it is on the thermometer.
Yeah, I've got my windows blocked off. I've got my morning windows blocked off. I'm not letting the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, if the light is coming through, okay, the UVC and the UVB is coming through. That's your clue. Okay, if the light is coming through, you know that the ultraviolet, the subtle radiation is coming through. So I use vinyl to cover my windows on the eastern side, and also on the south side, and also on the western side. Okay, you don't want your little ones playing in the sun anymore. It's a hard deal to wrap our mind around, but it's really true that they're getting. It's going to destroy the DNA. Okay, and we're not in Kansas anymore, to use the cliche. And so you really need to know. Higher Truth Channel, 3 words, Higher Truth Channel really has the scoop on what you can do to protect yourself. They've got things you can use, and he's the best at defining all this, being from 3 generations of physicists. Okay, so so just check him out. And so thank you for that report from Cologne. Love, and so we're chapter 61. Have at it, and thank you for being willing to share. She speaks approximately 5 different national tongues, and or what we call languages, but languages is not the right word. That's another code. The diction of 5 different nations, and she's really she was able to really pick up on this original thought that we have here. So it's just she did have to work at it. She stopped and played each program, and I was absolutely astounded to realize she was actually doing it a little better than me in some instances. So I said, look, you got to bring it on, okay? And she was happy to do it. So thank you, Yellow.
Yeah, because I want to learn and I want to be corrected, and please do correct me, when I have something.
Oh yeah, I'll jump in periodically to help out. Absolutely.
Thank you. So I'm going to read chapter 61 of the original so-called gospel star message of Yeshua the Moshiach. It came to pass when Yoganun, the son of Zechariah and Elishavad, had finished all his studies in the Mizraim schools, that the eye returned to Hebron, where he abode for certain days. And then the eye sought the wilderness and made his home in David's cave, where many years before the eye was instructed by the Mizraim sage. Some people called him the hermit of Engedi, and others breathed, the eye is the wild blood of the earth, of the hills. The eye clothed himself with skins of beasts. His food was carob, honey, nuts, and fruits. When Yoganun was 30 years of age, the eye went into Jerusalem, and in the marketplace the eye sat in the silence 7 days. The common people and the priests, the scribes and the Pharisees came out in multitudes to see the silent hermit of the hills, but none were bold enough to ask him who the eye was. But when his silent fast was done, the eye stood forth in the midst of all, and he breathed. You must see and read it for yourself. The king, the royal Malak has come. The navigators told of him, the wise blood of the earth long have looked for him. Prepare, true and perfect Asher Rael, prepare to meet your royal Malik. And that was all that the eye breathed. And then the eye disappeared, and no one knew where he had gone. And there was great unrest through all Jerusalem. The rulers heard the story of the hermit of the hills, and they sent couriers forth to talk with him that they might know about the coming royal Malik, but they could not find him. And after certain days, the eye came again into the marketplace, and all the city came to hear him spark. And the eye breathed, be not disturbed, you rulers of the state. The coming royal Malik is no antagonist. The eye seeks no place on any earthly throne. The eye comes, the Prince of Peace, the royal Malik of perfection of light and love. His royal domain is within the shoal. The eyes of the blood of the earth shall see it not, and none can enter but the pure in heart. Prepare, true and perfect Asher Rael, prepare to meet your royal Malik. Again, the hermit disappeared. The people strove to follow him, but the eye had drawn a veil about his form, and blood of the earth could not see him. The Judean feast day came. Jerusalem was filled with Judeans and proselytes from every part of Palestine, and Yoganun stood in the temple court and breathed, prepare, true and perfect Asher Rael, prepare to meet your royal Malik. It is true throughout all time you have lived in blindness and in darkness. The poor cry in your streets, and you regard them not. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded friend and foe alike. You worship the great Elohim with voice and lip. Your hearts are far away and set on gold. Your priests have bound upon the people burdens far too great to bear. They live in ease upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. Your lawyers, doctors, scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are but tumors on the body of the state. They toil not, neither do they spin, yet they consume the profits of your marts of trade. Your rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of any blood of the earth. And robbers ply their calling in the sacred halls. The enlightened temple you have sold to thieves. Their dens are in the sacred places set apart for creating light. Here, you people of Jerusalem, reform, turn from your dark ways, or the great Elohim will turn from you, and heathen from afar will come, and what is left of all your honor and your fame will pass in your short hour, in one short hour. Prepare, Jerusalem, prepare to meet your royal Malik. The eye breathed no more. The eye left the court, and no one saw him go. The priests, the doctors, and the scribes were all in rage. They sought for Yoganun intent to do him harm. They found him not. The common people stood in his defense. They breathed, the hermit sparks the truth. And then the priests, the doctors, and the scribes were sore afraid. They breathed no more. They hid themselves away. Chapter 62. Next day, Yalganun went again into the temple courts and breathed, "Prepare, true and perfect Asher-Rael, prepare to meet your royal Malek." The chief priests and the scribes would know the meaning of his shavors. They breathed, "Old man, what is the purpose of this message that you bring to Asher-Rael? If you be seer or navigator, tell us plainly who has sent you here." And Yalganun replied, "I am the voice of one who cries out in the wilderness, 'Prepare the way, make straight the path, for it is true throughout all time the Prince of Peace will come to rule in love.'" Your navigator, Malachi, wrote down the shavors of the great Olofheim, "And I will send Elijah unto you before the retribution day shall come, to turn again the hearts of blood of the earth to the great Olofheim. And if they will not turn, it is true throughout all time, I will smite them with a curse."
Yeah, and I want to jump in here because this is where the code word came in, and we never got the picture like we got excited, like we were supposed to know. Oh yeah, a guy, Eliel will come, but that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about Eliah. Eliah is more correctly the word, and Eliah literally means the enlightenment of the eye that goes round. So what it's really saying is, then I will send the enlightenment of the eye unto you before the retribution day will come. So that's what Yalkanan was. He was an enlightenment up to the people, enlightening their eyes and their minds, because like Yeshua said, of all the men who are born of women, there is none greater than Yalkanan, or Yalganun, John, because you see, I discovered his lost speeches that nobody knows exist today, and I've just not been able to publish them. That's again the problem with the lack of funding to do this work. But basically his speeches were epic, and he spoke. In other words, he spoke no different than Yeshua. He was just like Yeshua in his oratory, in his knowledge. The only thing that was different is he did no miracles. That is the only difference between these two, because that was for the healer. He's the healer, and that's why Yelchanan said, "I'm not worthy to be, to baptize you, because Alva B'tezer you, because you are the one who made the entire universe. How can I, purify you when you are already pure?" But Yeshua said, to fulfill the calling of perfection, we must do this. So that's why he finally did it. But anyway, so I just want to clarify that Eliel is actually the enlightenment that goes round. That was what was to come, the enlightenment. And therefore, this was blowing everyone away. That's why crowds came out into, went miles into the barren land to go listen to him, because this was something you couldn't get anywhere else, certainly not from the priesthood. So just wanted to add that little footnote there. And we'll read the entire section, Ya'lov. Okay, so that would be, we'll cap it off at chapter 65, and that'll be the new section. Okay.
What you mean? I shall start again, or what?
No, we're gonna read up until 65. It's a small section you're doing. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to read the verse number 7 again.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It sounds like this, and I will send the enlightenment of the eye that goes around. Yes.
Yeah, that would be the original thought. That's how they talked back then, huh?
Yeah. Unto you before the retribution day shall come, to turn again the hearts of blood of the earth to the great Olofheim. And if they will not turn, it is true throughout all time, I will smite them with a curse. You blood of the earth of Asher-Rael, you know your blindness and your darkness, As I passed by, I saw a wounded bird prone in your streets, and blood of the earth of every class were beating it with clubs. And then I saw that justice was its title. I looked again and saw that its companion had been killed. The pure white wings of perfection of light were trampled in the dust. I tell you, blood of the earth, your awfulness of guilt has made a cesspool of iniquity that sends a fearful stench unto the universe and to the throne of the sun. Reform, true and perfect Asher-Rael. Reform. Prepare to meet your royal Malik. And then Yalganun turned away, and the eye went. And as the eye went, he breathed. In 7 days, it is true throughout all time, I will stand at Gilgal by the Jordan crossing, where Asher-Rael first crossed into the promised land. And then the eye left the temple court to enter it no more. But many people followed him as far as Bethany, and there the eye tarried at the home of Lazar, his king.
And I just want to add, Lazar is the original for Lazarus. So not only do they abbreviate words, but some words, because they're small like Lazar, then they add corrupted letters to the end so that we don't get the picture, because Lazar means laser, ray of light, and therefore they corrupted it and they made it into Lazarus. Okay?
Lazar. So shall I say the laser? No.
No, just the Lazar would be good, because that's it. That is the word.
Yes. The anxious people gathered all about the home and would not go. And then Yalganun came forth and breathed. Reform, true and perfect Asher-Rael. Reform, prepare to meet your royal Malik. The blindness of Asher-Rael do not all lie at the door of priests and scribes. True and perfect, don't think that all the blind and dark people of Judea are found among the rulers and the blood of the earth of wealth. It is no sign that blood of the earth is good and pure because the eye lives in want. The listless, shiftless vagabonds of earth are mostly poor and have to beg for bread. I saw the very blood of the earth that cheered because I told the priests and scribes of their injustice unto blood of the earth. Throw stones. I saw them throw stones and beat poor justice in the streets. I saw them trample on the poor dead bird of perfection of light. And you who follow after me, you commoners, are not one whit behind the scribes and priests in crime. So reform, you blood of the earth of Asher-Rael. The royal Malik have come, prepared to meet your royal Malik. With Lazar and his sisters, Yalganun remained for certain days. In honor of the Nazarene, a feast was spread, and all the people stood about the board. And when the chief blood of the earth of the town poured out the sparkling wine and offered Yalganun a cup, the eye took it, held it high in the air, and breathed. Wine makes glad the carnal heart, and it makes sad the human soul. It plunges deep in bitterness and gall the deathless breath of the blood of the earth. I took the vow of Nazar when I was a youth, and not a drop has ever passed my lips. And if you would make glad the coming royal Malik, then shun the cup as you would shun a deadly thing. And then the eye threw the sparkling wine out in the street. Chapter 63. And Yoganoon went down to Jericho. There the eye abode with Alphaeus. And when the people heard that the eye was there, they came in throngs to hear him spark. He sparked to none. But when the time was due, the eye went down to the Jordan crossing, and to the multitudes he breathed. Reform, and in the fount of purity, wash all your blindness away. The royal domain is at hand. Come unto me, and in the waters of this stream be washed, symbolic of the inner cleansing of the soul. And it is true throughout all time, the multitudes came down, and in the Jordan they were washed, and every blood of the earth confessed his blindness. For many months, in all the region round about, Yoganoon pled for purity and perfection of light, and after many days the eye went again to Bethany, and there the eye taught. At first few but the honest seekers came, but by and by the selfish and the vicious came with no contrition, came because the many came. And when Yoganoon saw the unrepentant Pharisee and Sadducees come unto him, the eye breathed. You youth of the vipers, stay. Are you disturbed by news of coming wrath? Go to and do the things that prove repentance genuine. It is enough for you to breathe that you are heirs of Abraham. Is it enough to breathe that you are heirs of Abraham? Or Abraham? I tell you, no. The heirs of Abraham are just as wicked in the sight of the great Elohim when they do wrong as any heathen blood of the earth.
Yep, and just want to say, Abraham, of course, we know he wasn't a ham. That would be totally blasphemous. You see, so the priesthood gave him a corrupt name. Just like Nicodemus means the secret demon, because they hated him because he was a good follower of Yeshua. So Abraham would be with the AV and the A at the end, which is a significance of plurality, meaning more than one. So it'd be AYM. So more correctly, as you go, it's okay if but for the benefit of everyone listening, Avraham would be more correct. And literally what his title means is the breath of the many, the breath of the many. That's one of the aspects, and which, of course, we all speak about him, don't we? Isn't he the breath of everybody that wants to follow the pure tradition? So he is the breath of the many, and he was the promise came through of our enlightenment and of our fulfillment with the great breath of the wind and fire came through Avraham, and so he represents the great father in that sense, and because he was the father of a nation. And peoples, and it was about the seed of light. Then that's the what he becomes the father of, whether by the flesh or just by the spirit, because anyone that comes in do not have to be from that particular line. It's by spirit, and so the breath of the many, Avraham, and back to you.
Beautiful, thank you. The heirs of Abraham are just as wicked in the sight of the great Elohim when they do wrong as any heathen blood of the earth. You must see and read it for yourself, the X. And every tree that bears not wholesome fruit is cut down at the roots and cast into the fire. And then the people asked, what must we do? And Yoganoon replied, accept the ministry of helpfulness for all mankind. Spend not upon your selfish selves all that you have. Let him who has 2 coats give one to him who has no coat. Give part of all the food you have to those in need. And when the publicans came up and asked, what must we do? Yoganoon answered them, Be honest in your works. Do not increase for selfish gain the tribute you collect. Take nothing more than what your king demands. And when the soldiers came and asked, "What must we do?" the herald replied, "Do no violence to anyone, exact no wrongful thing, and be contented with the wages you receive." Among the Judeans were many who had been waiting for the Moshiach to come, and they regarded Yalganun as Moshiach. But to their question, Yalganun replied, "In water I do cleanse, symbolic of the cleansing of the soul. But when the I comes, who is to come, it is true throughout all time, the I will cleanse in the only true anointed, pure, great breath of light, and purify in fire. His fan is in his hand. Yeah, his fan is in his hand, and the I will separate the wheat and the chaff. He will throw the chaff away, but garner every grain of wheat. This is the Moshiach. You must see and read it for yourself. The I comes, and the I will walk with you, and you will know him not. The I is the royal Malak. The latchet of his shoes I am not worthy to unloose." And Yalganun left Bethany and went again unto the Jordan crossing. Chapter 64. The news reached...
No, please continue. I don't need to jump in. Thank you.
Okay. The news reached Galilee, and Yeshua with the multitude went down to where the herald was reaching out at the crossing. When Yeshua saw the herald, the I breathed, "You must see and read it for yourself, the blood of the earth of the great Elohim. You must see and read it for yourself, the greatest of the seers. You must see and read it for yourself, the enlightenment of the eye that goes around has returned. You must see and read it for yourself, the messenger whom the great Elohim has sent to open up the way. The royal domain is at hand." When Yalganun saw Yeshua standing with a throng, the I breathed, "You must see and read it for yourself, the royal Malik who comes in the title of the great Elohim." And Yeshua breathed to Yalganun, "I would be washed in water as a symbol of the cleansing of the soul." And Yalganun replied, "You do not need to wash, for you are pure in thought, in shavor, and in deed. And if you need to wash, I am not worthy to perform the rite." And Yeshua breathed, "I come to be a pattern for the seed of the moon, for the seed of the moon, and what I bid them do, that I must do as well. And all blood of the earth must be washed, symbolic of the cleansing of the soul. This washing we establish as a rite, al-baptizerism, right, we call it now as baptism, and so it shall be called. Your work, prophetic herald, is to prepare the way and to reveal the hidden things. The multitudes are ready for the shavors of life, and I come to be made known by you to all the world as navigator and of the triune great Elohim, and as the chosen one to manifest the Moshiach to the blood of the earth." And then Yalganun led Yeshua down into the river at the crossing, and the I, al-baptized him in the sacred title of him who sent him forth to manifest the Moshiach to the blood of the earth. And as they came out of the stream, the only true anointed, pure, great breath of light on the wind and wings of fire throughout all time, in form of a dove, came down and sat on Yeshua's head. And a voice from the throne of the Son breathed, "This is the well-beloved Son, seed of the Son, the Moshiach, the love of the great Elohim made manifest." Yalganun heard the voice and comprehended the message of the voice. Now Yeshua went his way, and Yalganun reached out to the multitude. As many as confessed their blindness and turned from darkness, from dark ways to ways of right and perfectness, the herald Alva tasered, symbolic of the blotting out of the blindness by perfection of light.
Knock out the blindness by the perfection of light. What a beautiful statement, rather than saying out of sins be righteous, right? There, that's the corruption, ladies and gentlemen. That's the code. Blotting out of sins by righteousness, when it should be the blotting out of blindness by the perfection of light. Get the picture. And I just,
there be light.
That's right. And I just want to back up on verse 11 because it's a little deeper, and we want to elaborate on. And first of all, baptize is a corruption. Again, another code, and it's alva, correctly, the AV, alva vatezareth. Alva vatezareth. Alva vatezareth. You have to consciously think about how to say these things when it's so new in our minds. Alva vatezareth. And so alva is to make white like a star. Alva, va is the serpent. Alva tazar, the taser. Well, we know what a taser is, right? It's when they sting you with the electricity, you are tasered. So it's with the power of a star. That's what it means. Tazar means the power of a star, and eth of the highest order. So alva tazareth means to make the serpent white. To make the serpent white like a star in its prime essence. Okay, so then we look at soul novation. Soul novation means to become a new star, and you have to repent, and that's to repent is the pentagram, but pent also is pant for breathing. Pent, and so literally repent means to rebreathe the breath of a star. You see, it's all about becoming a star, about the light of the sun. And this is the essence of what's been stolen from us. The occultists have given us darkness for the light. And so when in verse 11, when Yochanan led Yeshua down into the river at the crossing, he alva vatezar him, the one of the many, in the shachar royal title of the one of the many who sent him forth to reveal the Moshiach in blood of the earth. In blood of the earth. And the Yeshua had a duality. He was seed of the moon according to the flesh, but he was seed of the light manifest because he was the perfect seed. His father, and remember, the male is dominant, and so it's about the seed, and the seed was from the father of light, and therefore from Yahweh himself, and therefore he was a perfect creation. And and he had the spirit without measure, which therefore allowed him to endure everything he endured. Obviously, he had something going for him because he knew who he was, he knew where he came from, knew where he was going back, nothing to flinch about. But other than when he was tested in the garden, that moment when he's praying 3 times, Father, deliver me. He felt the same passions we felt. He cried. He felt the same emotions. He was hungry. He felt the same, sensations we did within our walk. And so in verse 12, and as they came out of the stream, well, it would have been Yochanan who came out of the stream, and Yeshua would have still been there. Well, what it is when he came up in the stream is what it should say. And when he came up in the stream, imagine he's there all alone. Everyone is on the side because he walked in alone. The picture we get of what we call baptism is not correct. He walked in on his own. It's the symbolism of it is found within the one of the navigators, okay, one of the prophets. But when he came up out of the stream, the only true anointed, pure, great breath of light on the wind and wings of fire, the pure breath, the Holy Spirit, in the brightness of a dove, not the form of a dove, but the brightness. Imagine that it's overcast, because it was, and it parted a window in the sky. This is where some of the lost writings, we need to read them, because you have to compare them all, and then you'll get the picture. But the sky parted a window in the clouds, and through the clouds came a bright light, that with the brightness of a dove, but with the focus of an eagle. In the most ancient New Testament script, it says with the focus of an eagle, literally. And so it's with the brightness of a dove and the focus of an eagle. The light came down directly on him, as if he were on a stage, just like we see on a stage in theater, right? And it's focused on him. Imagine that image, how powerful that would be. Not some dove flying down, but a light from the sun, a white light, a heliarch, bright white light focused on him. And then the voice that says, "This is my not beloved," but a voice came from the sky and breathed, "This is my only loved seed," his only loved. There's only one. And it came from the Father, and that is Yeshua, because we were born through Adam, through the fall, or through another tribe from ancient past. But he is the only seed of the Father, the perfect, the first made atom, atom. Okay? And so and then it focused on Yeshua's head, and then a voice came out and said, "This is my only loved seed, the seed of the great Elohim," meaning the seed of light, the Moshiach, and the love of Yahweh revealed. And so I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. We can't hammer this one enough, because it's the most epic moment, one of the most epic moments next to the crucifixion. It's the beginning of the process of soul novation that we all go through. What he did, he said we can do, and even greater works we would do. So just wanted to cap that off, Ya'Lov, and what a great read you did today.
Wow, thank you. Wow, that's so much deeper.
Yeah. Well, there are no perfect translations or transliterations, but Yeshua did give us a perfect book, and that's the enlightenment of our mind that when we are connected with the light, and that's the beauty behind the great mystery. And so you're breathing the light, and you're doing such a fine job. And just thank you so much. When we come back tomorrow, we'll be in the and provided you're with us. I know we got a juggling act right now, but section 14, none, which should be correctly noon. It's not none, it's noon. And that's where what the word none it was supposed to mean, noon, high noon. Then it will be the Mashiachim, little star, ministry of Yeshua, the introductory epic. And so that's going to be a great read, chapter 65. And Ya'Lov, thank you, and we'll look for you back in the chat, and hopefully we'll get you tomorrow, if not in the next days ahead. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye. All right, and there we go with the original gospel read. Like you don't get this anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. This is a totally unique phenomena to our broadcast. We're breathing it, we're giving it to the world. And Father said, freely we receive, freely we give. And so we're sharing because we it's necessary. We have to see these things, So I have to turn on another bit of light, and hang on a second. Okay, got all these light bulbs now heating up the apartment, but now I can see better. Okay, so I did a review. I went in Young's Concordance And we're now back in the book of Genesis, and we are going to talk about where we picked up. But I'm doing a recap right now because when we were reading about the firmament, in the sky, I wanted to refresh myself on the terminology of firmament versus the second part, which elaborated as the sky. And in Lamsa, let me see the verse. Hang on. Okay, verse 8 in chapter 1 of Lamsa, and he called the firmament sky. That's from the Aramaic. Okay, called the firmament sky. And what does it say in our King James, verse 8? And you see, here's the code word. In the King James, it's the code word. Not only is firmament a code word, but after that it says, and he called the firmament heaven. And that's a code word. Okay, that's a code word, as I've said over and over. Heaven is a code word for sky, for the sun, and for the cosmos. Those three in particular, but for more. And so literally, that's why we never get the picture, you see? He called it heaven. It's sky. And in the Yiddish Hebrew, they call it the Shekinah. The Shekinah. You hear the word Shekinah. Shekinah. But it's Shekinah. Shekinah because it is the royal creation of the fire of light come down. That's literally what Shekinah means. There's the Nal again. We find it in the Nagash, right? The Nal. So again, all codes. We're having to deal with an occultic world that has tampered with our scriptures. They don't want us to get the picture. They want us to be in kindergarten and saying, Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so. Kumbaya, kumbaya, kumbaya. But don't ask questions, okay? Don't ask questions because, well, how dare you question the King James scriptures, or I remember one of my brain dead grandparents, and they weren't so grand. One of them, from the Catholic tradition says, well, that's for the priest to know. We're not supposed to know that stuff. That's strictly for the priest. You know what I mean? Yeah, give me a break. Okay, so I'm in Strong's Concordance, and firmament is rakia. And basically it's implying one of the implications is an expanse. Okay, and that's what the sky is doing. It's expanding beyond the earth like a bubble, and therefore it also means canopy, and also we see in there the terminology regalia. And if we can see that the word ray is the primary ray of rays of light that came down to give us the beautiful blue sky, to illuminate the atmosphere, and the regalia, the G is symbol of the sun again, but regalia is the royal, the royal, and it is royal. It is the ultimate royal because it represents Yahweh, who made all things. Okay, so there's out of the Strongs, and well, no, that's Young. Excuse me, that's not Strongs. That's Young. And now I'm going into Strongs. And so in Strong's we see in 7549, Rakia, it's the pronunciation it gives here, Rakia, and it comes from 7554, which is just a 5 down. But I want to finish here on the Rakia 7549, and it says visible arch of the sky. Okay, it's the visible arch of the sky, and he says in parentheses, apparently it's the visible arch of the sky. That's the rakia, and that's what they gave us. How come they didn't just put rakia in there? How come they put firmament, right? It sounds like, I always, in my ignorance, always thought it was like earth or dirt or something, right? Firm, it's something firm. It's not something firm, certainly, but that's how they trick us with the word. So I went down to 7554, and it's Raka. And it's interesting. It sounds like Raquel. It's just one more word away from Raquel, and that's what we all wanted, right? We all wanted the Rachel. We got Lee, and Lee was okay, but she was not the one that was preferred, And so there's a story there, but nonetheless, on the Raka, we find out to expand. It means to expand. and also another term is to overlay. Okay, so now we're getting a little better picture because it is overlaying the entire Earth. But then if we go into the Jacinius lexicon, and then we look in there, we find out that that it means, well, let's see what it says in the first definition. Following the number system of Strong, 7549, it's spread out. Okay, spread out like a hemisphere above the Earth. Not like, it is the hemisphere above the Earth, like a splendid, placid sapphire. Then now it's getting a metaphor, fixed over which they believed was the heavenly ocean. Okay, so I'm going to go down now to where it referred us to, and that's down to 7554, and there it is. It says twice to spread out, and so it was spread out like a covering over the earth. Okay, and that was synonymous with to expand, to spread out, the visible arch, and overlay, and also in 7554 in Strong's, an overlay. Okay, so it's overlaid, it's spread out, and what did they call it? So then the question is, so what did they call this rakeia? And they called it in the English firmament, but it's so that, and so the firmament, it said he called the sky, not heaven, but the sky. So the firmament is the sky, and that's all when it's all laid out, and it's firm. We can say it's firm in the sense that it's not going anywhere, right? It's tight against the earth, but of course now they did kill the ozone layer, so we're in a little bit of a pickle with that, right? So anyway, just wanted to share that with you because I felt unprepared when I was reading 2 days ago and didn't remember specifically what the terminology meant. So I went back to set the record straight. Okay, so the firmament literally means a firm creation, and therefore it does not move. Okay, but within the regalia, that regalia, we see the clouds and the other things, and even in the daytime you can see the sun and even at times the moon. Okay, so literally the firmament is the expansive canopy. That's what it is, and it is called the sky. But in the original, what they took out, because as we see in King James, the Masoretes gave us the word heaven, but they knew the truth. They knew it was the Shekinah. The Shekinah, or the Shekinah, what they call the Shekinah glory, is still a corruption and abbreviated. It is the Shekinah. The She is the royal eye, because the royal eye we see in the daytime in the blue sky, and the K is that fire of the sun, the fiery eye, and the Nal, that which came down, the royal fire of the eye that came down. And what did it do? It created a beautiful blue sky, and it brings forth all the emerald fire, the emerald green of the earth. Everything is blossoming because of that the sun, which we also call the atom, which was called the Yal-Ganun, the fire at high noon, because it's at perpetual high noon, nurturing the earth. Okay, always at high noon, even though we don't see it at times. That is what's called the pure shelter that protects us. It is the symbol of our protection. It is the symbol of our shield. It is the light that comes down to deliver us at the moment we need it, when we can do no more. When we can do no more, then the great light shines for us and comes to our aid. We do everything we can, then that's when Yeshua fills up our cup. Okay, so important terms, and so don't forget, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're telling your friends. Now I'm going to get my my easel of books. Okay, just give me a second. I'll pull that up. I'll just put the music on while I'm setting it up. It'll just take me half a minute. Be right back. And don't forget, you want to get your scriptures too. Get your King James or whatever version you want to use. I'm going to be reading out of the King James, but I've got the Lamsa, 1933 from the Aramaic, and I've got Fenton, the most important transliteration in our modern time, and I got the Septuagint, the first translation ever come out of the Hebrew into the Greek, 300 BC. I got to readjust my microphone here. Let there be mic. I got to raise it up a little more. Okay. All right, I think we're good here. And I'll tell you, I can feel the age creeping in here. I just wish I could afford some more of my nutritionals. Hopefully down the road we'll work it out. But the C60 is really helping me out. I take a few when I'm talking here today, and I find it really helps. And I hope everybody's doing well out there. I know it's a tough world. We're all going through stuff that never stops, right? And so don't forget, you can request prayer on the chat line if you are in need. Okay, and we're always here if you're ever going through any struggle. For all of you wonderful friends, you know, you can call me anytime, and we will you'll be glad to try to create light with you, and also possibly find solutions to anything you're going through. Okay, I've been doing this all my life. When I was a political activist with my other network, always tried to find help for people that were in crisis, and so I do have friends, people that I know that can possibly help in any different situation. Just give a call. That's why we're here. Okay, serve. We're here to serve. And so here we are. We're in picking it up in our scriptures in chapter 1 of Genesis, verse 26. And I'm going to pick it up. You would have had to listen to the last program we did 2 days ago. That was our last program, okay? And so, yeah, okay, Ninja, right. Prayers for your mother, absolutely. She's got a back problem, I believe, something going on. So may she get well. All right, so we're in 26, and so I'm going to read it the plain way first, and then I'll transliterate it. I'll give you the King James the way it is, okay? And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps in the earth. So most people said that's rather interesting that it's plural, and God said, let us make man in our image. So, and so obviously that doesn't make sense, and we have to transliterate it to get back to the original word. And so God would be, now this particular text would have come out of the northern kingdom, other than the Yahwistic text when we see Lord God, which comes to us in the 2nd chapter. That is the Yahwistic text that came from the southern kingdom. But the 1st chapter here is from the northern kingdom. Remember, the kingdom was split. And so they each had their own library. And so they each had their own versions. Okay? And some maybe lost some of their writings through the burning and the sacking that went on. And so there's more to the story, than anybody's ever told us. And that's they just want to keep it simple, Again, the kindergarten. Oh, it's the book of Moses. Moses wrote it. No, he didn't. No. Moses has a different meaning. Moshe El. It means it's the cosmic story. And but it is the story of our creation. So in that, it is the book of Moshe El, because the Mazoroth, or another way to see it is in the term mosaic. Yeah, you know what a mosaic is? That's when they put all these little ceramic pieces together to create pictures. So a mosaic is a picture of life. And so Moshe El is all of creation in the metaphor, you see? And and there we got the word cosmos. Cosmos, you see, the cosmosha, the cosmos. So they just never talk about these things, and they hope that we won't ask questions, you know. And really, they don't care what the questions are, as long as you're asking, or what they don't care what the answers are, as long as you're asking the wrong questions. Okay. So let's correct the terms now, and say in verse 26, and Yahweh, we have to add Yahweh because it was there with Yahshua, who is the first atom, and the great Elohim, symbolized by the logo, which is the sun. That's the symbol of the great Elohim. So Yahweh breathed to the great Elohim. So the Father is talking to the Son. You see, S-U-N. Oh, excuse me, S-O-N, to the Son. And he says, let us make blood of the earth in our image. Okay, this is what they were all waiting for the first, part of creation. And let us make blood of the earth in our image and after our likeness. And then let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fish of the air, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. And so the great Elohim created blood of the earth, because the great Elohim is working for the Father. The Father is sitting back in his rest, and Yeshua, the great Elohim, is the one who is working for the Father. He is creation, okay? He is the first atom, therefore he is in all things, and that is why it says he knows how many hairs are on our head. That's why he says, when you didn't visit me in prison, when you didn't go visit the prisoner, you didn't visit me. Why? Because we are made of him from the form of the physical nature of the atom. He is the first atom, the perfect creation. Is not creation perfect when you look at it upside down, inside out? How can we deny the perfection, right? And let them, okay, so verse 27, and I'm going to read it in the King James style first. And God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay, but so the great Elohim created blood of the earth in his own image. But it's interesting that it says his image, because it's a duality, and it could even read in her image, because Elohim is feminine. You see, because creation is feminine. So even though Yeshua is a male by character, by nature, meaning creation, he's female. So he's both male, female, just like the Father as spirit is both male, female. Yeshua, therefore, is known as the Isha, but Isha correctly is Asha. Asha, meaning the royal A, the royal creation. Okay, that's where we get Asha Real. This word comes from the beginning, and it's one of the biggest covers. Okay, next to the word sun itself, we're using the code word heaven. Okay, Asha became Issa, and Issa means the woman, and it referred to the first creation as the Issa, meaning female. And then we see it in the Mediterranean Egypt as Isis, you see? But it's A. It starts with the A, always starts with the A, Aisha. And so the great Elohim created blood of the earth in their own image. We should keep it plural. It started plural in verse 26, and we should keep it plural. Created in their own image. In the image of the great Elohim, they created him, the one of the many. That's what him means. H-I-M is one of the many, because it's the beginning of a creation, a duplication. Male and female created he them. Okay? And so what's not being said here is that the Elohim that created is the earth, in the lower creation, it is the earth that spontaneously generated Adam, the first man made on earth, and therefore, because this creation was already instituted, even Yeshua was sitting back in his rest, because Yeshua is perfect, and therefore he can only make a perfect creation. But we know that what was made fell and was perfect in right, but yet in its physical form was made by not the great Elohim, but by Elohim. Okay, the lower Elohim, meaning the earth itself, brought forth through the volcano, through the fiery magma, the blood of the earth. And therefore, because the Elohim could not breathe life into Adam, that is when in the mystery Yahweh comes down in the form of the great Elohim and breathes into the nostrils, the gnosis, and then Adam becomes a living being. So I just want to clarify that. We'll get to that later, and I'm not sure how far we're going to get today, because I can feel it already today. But so continuing, verse 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So it's the great Elohim. The great Elohim. When you look at God, the word God compared to Elohim, or Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, which is what Lord God means, we can see we've lost a lot in the translation. Okay, and so the great Elohim, Baruch. What is blessed? He Barucheth. He made them born of an endowment and an enlightenment, with a mind's eye for seeing in the night. Not blessed, and he blessed them. They removed the correct word, which is Barucheth. They were born of an endowment. What's the endowment? It's your heritage. It's what you're going to receive. If you don't already have it, you're going to receive it soon. Born of the endowment and the enlightenment, with a mind's eye for seeing in the night, the ability to see in the darkness and not be fooled. Cool weather comes tomorrow, Ninja. Thank you. So get the picture, friends. They changed the words. I'm proving it. I'm giving it to you here. I've never heard it anywhere like this, okay? Other than through Yeshua and the enlightenment that he brings. The plot thickens. The story is so great. And we've been denied so much. All of my life I kept reading the scriptures saying, I know there's more to it. I know something ain't right here. I'm scratching my head. Why is it so hard to comprehend? Verse 29. And the great Elohim breathed. You must see and read it for yourself. I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth. Now it's interesting, because the word seed with a D on it is a corruption, because the word is see, as in looking. Why? Because when you plant it on the ground, you see something come up, and it's like an ocean. The amber waves of grain is like an ocean. Okay, because one little sea or seed creates an entire ocean of many more, right? And so they corrupted that word also. Why do you go out into the ocean? They call it the sea, because when you're out there, you're looking. You better be looking, or you're going to get lost in the sea. You see? Get the picture? And so a seed is the same thing, because you're going to watch it bring forth many. And that's why we sit on not our seat, but our sea, because the implication is of the male and his seed that is in him, the sea. He has a sea within him. What? A sea of mankind in every male, right? Millions of little sporum, not sperm, but sporum, okay? And so these are the things they're not teaching us in school, are they? Of course not. So continuing, and I'm looking at something here. Hang on. Okay, got another. I got some notes on my 3x5 cards I got to watch too. And so the great Elohim said, you must see and read it for yourself. I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it will be for meat. So you see, what did he say? He didn't say the animals were given us for meat. He said, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, every tree in which there is fruit of a tree yielding seed, and to you it shall be for meat. So in the beginning, he didn't say go out and kill the animals and slaughter them. He said, I've already given you food. It's already been provided. There's nothing you have to do. Just go pick it, fresh from the vine. That's where we get the word divine from, the vine. Continuing, verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, where there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. So he said all the animals also can benefit from it for meat. And the great Elohim, in 31, breathed, I saw everything that he had made, and you must see and read it for yourself. It was not very good. It was Yaltzar. Yaltzar, meaning it was the perfect power and produce of the great star that goes round, of the great star of the sun, the Sharfan, the infinite power that comes down. And I'm going to post it right there on chapter 2 for tomorrow. Okay, and then I'm going to cap off today with just a little read out of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary and some words that kill. Oh, and then I forgot, I've also got History of the Church, and then we'll cap it off there. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Genesis, just a few bites at a time, ladies and gentlemen, to help you all out on your journey, and so you can see and read it for yourself. You certainly need to get Lamsa and Fenton if and when you can. All right, I'm going to music for a second. I just need to put these books back on the other table, and I'll be right back. 30 seconds. You know it's what they didn't want you to know, don't you? And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's so much ground to cover. I think what I should do first is Philo. Let me put my microphone back now. I had to raise it so I could talk over that easel with all my books on it. And okay, the microphone's back there. And want to welcome any new listeners that are out there. And love to hear from you. Okay. And so I want to read Philo. Philo is so important, and I got to work my way through it. I can't leave it out. And I'm just doing a scan of my notes in Philo, and I'm just looking at all the grass of the field. He proceeds sprang up, as to say, before the particular things perceptible. Okay, and here's the seventh day in the works of Philo. We're now in what's called the allegorical interpretation. Interesting. It looks like it's relevant to what we were just reading in Bereshith. So, yeah, I see you're correct, Ash. You will need to rewind. Of course, there's a lot to miss in the first presentation. A review is always good. So, and the great Elohim blessed the seventh day and made it sacred and separated it from the other days. And he baruched it, endowed and enlightened it in a manner which are formed in accordance with the seventh and divine light. As being truly light. Oh, okay. As being the true light, in other words, okay? The seventh day, Saturn actually means soul turn, okay? Saturn, what we call Saturday, but you can hear it. It's a corrupted word again. That's what they do. It's soul turn. Why? Because Saturday is when we turn back to the sun, to Sunday, right? We go out through the planets. Mercury, Venus. Venus is Friday. Mercury's Wednesday. Monday's Moon Day, and so so each day goes further out, and then at the Saturn's day, we're the furthest out on the solar system for the recognized planets, just for the 7 days of the week, and it turns back. Soul turn, Saturn day, soul turn day, to turn back towards the sun. That's what we're being told. We have to turn back towards the sun. So sorry, Ash. We'll keep you in our supplications. Okay, get better, and there's some things you probably need to put on that. Okay, perhaps ice and also some tincture of some sort that can pull out of that. Okay, so and prayer, of course. So so the soul turn. So it's telling us in Saturday that we have to turn back towards the sun, towards the light, and the best healing comes from the light as well, and immediately declares them pure, for that which is endowed and enlightened and that which are pure are closely connected and one with another. This account he breathes concerning him who has vowed a great vow, that if a sudden change comes over him and pollutes his mind, he will no longer be pure. So just the thoughts, okay, just the thoughts are pollutions, and that's absolutely true. It's not in the action, but in the thought. But now I'm going to jump over because I don't have any highlights on here, and okay, I'm going to jump over now to section verse 21, 9 in the original. On which day, and I'll back up. Moshe adds these words: when they were created, not defining the time when by any exact limitation, for what has been made by the author of all things has no limitation, and in this way the idea is excluded, and the universe was created in 6 days, 6 great periods. You see, they corrupted it again. The 6 great periods, 6 billion years, because the Father was in no hurry. And it was going to take a long time to develop his creation through a logical process. And on which day the great Elohim created the cosmos and the earth and every green herb of the field. This is what we were just reading, so I thought it was interesting. Before it appeared on the earth. Oh, so in other words, yeah, he designed everything. He created it prior to it being on the earth. It was all designed in his great encyclopedia of his mind. And all the grass of the field before it sprang up, he designed. For the great Elohim did not reign upon the earth, and blood of the earth did not exist to cultivate the earth yet. And this Dayel was previously called a book. Oh, there it is. This Dayel, Moshe previously called a book. Interesting. I've read all this, but there's too much to remember, Okay. And since that, at least he describes the generation of both the sun, earth, and moon in each their place with the stars. For by his most conspicuous and brilliant word, Shavor, by one command, the great Elohim makes both things. The idea of the mind, which, speaking symbolically, he calls the sun, the logo, and the idea of sensation, by which by a sign he names earth. And the likeness, the idea of the mind. And mind is a corruption. Take off the D, you get a mine. Where do you go dig for gold? You go to the mine. The mine, M-I-N-E, is how they spell it, but it's min, and it means we're looking closely. That's the gem. When you got a gem, you look at it closely, don't you? And that's what mine means, M-I-N. It's also synonymous with moon. Okay, there's another gem in the sky, worshipped by the occult, though. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over. I'm just giving you little snippets of what Philo's about. In 23, it says, and the green herb of the field. I'm just reading here, hang on. Okay, but the green herb of the field, Moshe means that portion of the mind which is perceptible only by the intellect. Okay, so here's the metaphor, the green herb of the field. So you see, when we were reading it just a little bit ago, literally, and I didn't even elaborate on any esoteric meaning, but now Philo's given it to us. Perfect timing. Thank you, great Father of Light. Okay, so now we get the interpretation of what that green herb of the field was that we were supposed to eat. What is that green herb of the field, Philo? Let's get my highlighter and re-highlight that. It was faded here. We need to keep it highlighted and take a look at that. The green herb of the field, and then down is going to be the grass of the field. Hang on, more, and then we know that these words have to be looked at in the Hebrew because we don't know what it means. We're not getting that part of it until we go search. It's a work and a walk and a wake. Work and a walk and a wake. I like that because we have to wake up. Moshe. Okay, so and the green herb of the field. Moshe means that portion of the mind which is perceptible only by the intellect. Okay, that's the green herb of the field. That which we can see in our mind. For as in the field, green things spring up and flourish, so also that which is perceptible only by the intellect is the fruit of the mind. That's the treasure in heaven also, ladies and gentlemen. The treasures in your heaven, what nobody can take from you. Let them take everything you got, but they can't take your treasure in heaven. Unless you want to just fold, and that would be a terrible thing to do. Therefore, before the particular something perceptible only by intellect existed, consciousness also. And the great Elohim created the general something perceptible only by intellect, which also he correctly denominated the universe. Of course, and it's all based on numbers too. For since the particular something perceptible only by intellect is complete, that is not the universe, but that which is generic is the universe as being complete. 10:24. And all the grass of the field, quote, and he proceeds before it sprang up, that is to say, before the particular things perceptible by the external senses sprang up, there existed a generic something perceptible by the external senses through the foreknowledge of the Creator, that's Elohim, which he again called universe, the universe. And Yahweh would be regarded as the great architect, and Elohim is the creator. There's the distinction between architect and creator. Elohim is creator. Great Elohim is the great creator, and he is one with the architect. They are one, and they made the great Giza pyramid prior to the flood, and Yeshua came down in the form of Shem, Melchizedek, and was commissioned by Yahweh to do that. And the only thing you can read in the Great Pyramid are numbers. There are no writings in there other than up, some graffiti up in that attic section. But we're talking about, in general, there are no writings. It was purely to be interpreted by number. The greatest pyramid of them all, made by the one who made the universe. Go figure, right? Makes sense. And continuing, and very naturally, he likened the things perceptible by the external senses to grass. We love to walk on the grass, don't we? For as grass is the food of irrational animals, so also that which is perceptible by the external senses is assigned to the irrational portion of the soul. That's the serpent owl. Okay, so it's more specifically talking then about the serpent than the owl. The owl has to fly away and never come back. And that's who you really are in the metaphor. For why, when he has previously mentioned the green herb of the field, does he also add and all the grass? As if, it's interesting, the word ass is in grass. And we know about the ass, meaning it's of the false tradition, or that which is of the lower in the duality, right? As if the grass were not green at all. But the truth is that by the green herb of the field, he means that which is perceptible by the intellect only, the budding forth of the mind. The grass means that which is perceptible only by the external senses. So there's a distinction between the herbs and the grass. The grass is of the lower, and the herb is that complexity of the higher order of things, right? And being likewise the produce of the irrational. Okay, let me back up then. But grass means that which is perceptible by the external senses, that being likewise the produce of the irrational part of the soul. So I think I'm going to just cap it off right there. All right, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. I think that was a pretty good cap off connected with our reading out of the interpretation of Genesis today. Okay, so now I'm going to real quick give us a little read in here on Islam. Then we're going to do words that kill, and then we'll be with the history of the church. So lots of ground to cover, ladies and gentlemen, and I was trying to avoid a 3-hour program and just do it with 2, but there is so much ground to cover, and people like to review it later, and some people want to stay with the whole program because they're eating it up, literally, and so I'm good for 3 hours, with all the material that we have here, and so I want to welcome and thank all of you for hanging in there, and thank you, Ya Love, and any new listeners. I know you're going to get an earful, and I see some people, like Shelly, she's literally going program by program, all right? Literally every program she's listening to, and she's absolutely floored, okay, with the presentation. And so my hat's off to her for having such dedication for the truth. And yeah, Mew, hear you. Thank you. So Islam, we're going to read a little bit about Islam here. Because of its religious history and its strategic location, the holy city, talking about the Vatican, was considered a priceless treasure. A scheme had to be developed to make Jerusalem a Roman Catholic city. The great untapped source of manpower that could do this job was the children of Ishmael. The poor Arabs fell victim to one of the most clever schemes ever devised by the powers of darkness. The Vatican desperately wanted Jerusalem because of its religious significance, but was blocked by the well, here it says Jews, but the Jews were not in. The word didn't even exist then, so I'm not sure what specifically would be the correct terminology here, other than the culture that was living there. We could put it that way, whatever culture was living there. And I think it was a mix, but a lot of Arabs, of course. Another problem was the true Christians in North Africa. It would have been Judeans, probably, the Judeans, who are still following the the Old Covenant traditions. That's what it means when Jews are used here. And then another problem was the true Christians of the North Africa preaching the gospel, and because the pure tradition was all around there. Okay, Roman Catholicism was growing in power and would not tolerate any opposition. Somehow the Vatican had to create a weapon to eliminate both the Judeans and that were still there and the true Christians, that'd be Moshekim, the followers who refused to accept Roman Catholicism. Looking to the North Africa, they saw the multitudes of Arabs as a source of manpower to do their dirty work. the Vatican wanted to create a Mashiach, a Messiah, for the Arabs. Someone they could rise up as a great leader, a man with charisma who they could train and eventually unite all the non-Catholic Arabs behind him, creating a mighty army that would ultimately capture Jerusalem. For the Pope, Jack Chick, the prophet, Alberto, Part 6, Chick Publications, page 5 and 18. Just do a YouTube search, or not a YouTube search, but a Google search. Jack Chick, Chick Publications. Okay, here we see that the Catholic Church desperately wanted control of Jerusalem because of its location and its great religious significance. They wanted to use the Arabs to grind the Judeans and the Christians into the dust so they could take over Jerusalem. The Vatican also invented a Messiah figure from among the Arabs, around whom the Arabs would then unite. A wealthy Arabian lady who was faithful follower of the Pope, also wealthy, played a tremendous part of this drama. She was a widow named Kihaja. Her job was to find a brilliant young man who could be used by the Vatican to create a new religion and become the Messiah for the children of Ishmael. Okay, and then see Allah, diminitude, God, without a breath, mind control, Muslim belief, Nebraska, Vatican creation. This article is by Bill Hughes, who I used to produce a Wednesday program for, called The Secret Terrorist. And he is the author of The Secret Terrorist and The Enemy Unmasked. And you can get both books for including shipping and handling for $12. And you'll get the true story of the sinking of the Titanic as well. Okay, receive both books from Truth Triumphant. That's 2 words, Truth Triumphant, P.O. Box 1497, P.O. Box 1497, Eustis, Florida, EUSTIS, Eustis, Florida 32727, 32727, USA. Just listen to the recording, play it back, and you'll get it. I used to live in Eustis when I worked for American Rights Litigators and Eddie Kane. But I never met Bill at the time. I never knew him, but I found the book there. I just didn't know Bill at the time. We could have met. And tomorrow I'm going to pick it up on the Jesuit Oath. That's this next page here. This is in the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary. The Jesuit Oath, extreme oath and induction of the Society of Jesus. Just a wonderful group of people. Love you to death, you know. And there you go. And so let's go to the words that kill. Ladies and gentlemen, we are winding it down. And these are a few on my cards I had. Okay, so I finally, after all these years, one of the hardest ones was to get the word justice, because I knew the justice is a corruption, because there is no J. Remember, there is no J. That's the first tip-off of the code. It's the hook. They want to get you on the hook. They're fishing for your body. And we see what the justice does. It puts everybody in the slavery camps. And Rainbow Phoenix, good to have you. Thanks for stopping by again. So I saw it by reading for Fenton, and I found it in Jeremiah 30:18, which gave me the tip-off. Okay, Jeremiah 30:18. I'll see if I can grab it. Hang on. And I've been reading. I'm in Jeremiah now, reading every day. So let's see where it is here. 30:18. So I found it right here because, again, it is a code, and you have to know the code, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. This is very sophisticated. Okay, I mean, these guys. But what's amazing is that they did use a code that you could transliterate. That's what's amazing. They could have used a code that was fully for them, and instead they used the Aramaic in order to initiate it, right? And so here it is. So Yahweh, this is again Jeremiah 30, verse 18. And Yahweh, however, breathes, I will restore the seed of light. Now they use Jacob, capital J, but it's not. You have to transliterate the name to get the picture. I will restore the seed of light, the seed of light's captured halls, and I will extend his dwellings and build his city, and it says city on high. But high is a code. It means the eye of the return. Okay? The eye of the return. What is the eye of the return? It is the sun. The sun is the eye where everything came out of the sun. Therefore, everything has to return back to the sun. You see? The eye, he's having a harvest. When creation came out, what's the law, the law of nature? Cause and effect. Something comes out, something has to go back. And that's about the harvest, you see? So he built this city in the eye of the return. So what he's saying here is, let me read it again because I'm still getting the picture. Yavohe breathes. I will restore the seat of light and its captured halls, and extend his dwellings and build his city on high, which means in the eye of the return. So where's the city? In the eye of the return. That's the Eden. That's the atom. That's the sun. You see, in the eye. That's where he's going to build it. Not on earth. Not on earth, but in the throne of the light, where all creation came out of. The throne of the light. And it found his place on justice. And justice, therefore, is a cover for the word of light. I saw it today for the first time. And justice is light, ladies and gentlemen. It makes sense. Is it not light, the prime element of what would indicate what is right? The word right itself is light with the secret vowel, the duality of the L and the R going back and forth. It is the light. And so here is the essence telling us that he's going to establish the throne of David and the dwelling of the seat of light in the eye of the return, and that is the sun. We have to see with new eyes. It is metaphor. It is symbolism. It is not just in the throne of the sun. The kingdom is everywhere. The throne is everywhere. The throne is in your mind. You are a star. You are a sun. You are a seed of light. If you put on the light, you can be what you were meant to be and not what you don't want to be and never should have been in the fall. Okay? This is so powerful to get these pictures. I'm absolutely just, beside myself in excitement with having it revealed. Once you know the code, you can take it back to the original thought, and it is a mind blower because it is the uncovering the dirt that they have thrown on top of our old ancient tradition. And it is the truth is stranger than fiction. Okay? Stranger than fiction. And what does he say? I'm continuing here. And after the word justice, which is light, and the sound the sound of song, and it says laughter. It's not laughter. There's another code for illumination. Remember we said joy is a code for illumination as well, therefore laughter. And a song of illumination, and the sound will be the song of illumination, being able to see in that darkness, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And so he will build the city in the eye of the return, and it will be the song of illumination. And are we not being illuminated by this revelation, which is so clear to me? I hope it is to you. And will come out, and this illumination will come out from them. This illumination then will come out from them, and they will be enlightened. Okay, there's glorious. Glorious is another code for enlightened. It's just so amazing the trick that has been played on us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and enlightened. Let me just write that here. Hang on. Isn't it all about the enlightenment? It absolutely is, and that's how why they had to use the code words glory. Glory, means sunrise in its primary, and therefore, because they're enlightened and illuminated, they will not be depressed. Okay, they will not be depressed. So it is talking about the New Jerusalem. Okay, he destroyed the old one. This Jeremiah. This is at the final end. 200 years after the northern kingdom was destroyed, Now we have Judah, approximately 500 BC, and it's all over now. Nebuchadnezzar's going to collect the rest of them, going to destroy the temple, tear down the walls, and destroy all the produce, do a hatchet job on that capital, and Yisrael is no more. Judah is no more. Judah, and so, but yet what Jeremiah is saying here, Yahweh is speaking to him, but yet in that day, talking about in the future. Here, I'll back up, okay? I'll go to verse 3 in chapter 30. The day has come, because they got future tense. The day's come, but it's like this. The day has come, breathes Yahweh, that I restore the captives of my people, Yisrael. But now and Judah, Yisrael and Judah, but what he's talking about is the entire civilization that are on the earth. You know, the old Jerusalem is done away with now. It was a symbol to be interpreted in its meanings and metaphors in the stories that were given to us. They were used to create pictures. And now he's saying, and the day has come now that I am to restore and I'll just read it the way Fenton has it, when I will restore the captives of my people, Yisrael and Judah. It's a divided kingdom. He's reading it that way. He didn't just say Yisrael. He said Yisrael and Judah. Well, what does Yisrael mean? Let me give it to you. It's one of the cards I have here today. It means the royal eye of enlightenment. And so the word has to be transliterated in that sense. So it should be saying, and so the day has come that I will restore the captives of my people in the royal eye of enlightenment. Isn't that what Yeshua did? He gave us the golden age of enlightenment, of light. Okay? And Yutha meaning the sun, and every living, and the ever living, and Yahweh, and return them to the land that I gave to their ancestors, and they will possess it. What land? Not the dirt of Israel, not the dirt of Palestine, but of the mind. The enlightenment, that's the paradise. That's the true promised land. It is the enlightenment, the transformation and the fulfillment of your being. You see, that's the New Jerusalem. That's what we saw at the end of Revelations, right? At the end of Revelations. The New Jerusalem came down. It was a cube. It was a cube. It meant it was a perfect creation. And they will possess it. Okay? And continuing down verse 8. And I do break the yoke from off your neck and snap the shackles. He wants to set you free. But remember, they thought he came to free Israel, the land. He didn't come to free Israel, the land, did he? He came to set the captives free, the people free from the serpent that had enslaved them, the body, the flesh. Okay? So he's talking about how he's now going to do it. He's talking about the Mashiach who's coming. Okay? So there's your slice of what they don't want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, and what they have hidden from us. And they keep saying, well, you know, Israel's the chosen people. Yeah, they were chosen, but they failed, didn't they? They fell and they failed. And so he said, you're out of here. I'm done with you. And that's what happened. That's what happened, okay? So we've got to see everything in its true light. And it's amazing when these words are decoded, what it reveals. Okay, so justice is light, and the word preaches is navigate. So if we see the word preacher, it's navigator. If we see preaches, he navigates. Oh, how do we navigate? Through these dark waters, right? We're navigating through these dark waters, and it's a rough ride, right? Like being out in a storm. And Esau and Asha, okay, literally mean, and also that would then be Issa, I-S-H-A, Isha, or Issa, I-S-S-A, in the Septuagint. Esau, Asha, Isha, Issa are all the same word. They just corrupted it, Asha, and it means the woman. And it's talking about a duality. And you can read the word the same frontwards and backwards. It means the royal A, and therefore it means the royal woman. And Yeshua is the first atom. The A is the first letter. Okay, it's all telling a story, and it's deep, is it not, ladies and gentlemen? And then Asha, who is falsely called Israel, it's Asha Re'el, and the word Asha is still there. Asha Menor means a menor is a light, a menorah they call it, but it's the A is silent. It's the menor, and that's why when you go into a cave, they called you a miner, a menor, because you carried a light with you. You were the light going into the mine, and so Asha Menor means the light of Asha. Okay, the light of Asha. And good morning, Hans. So Asha Real means the royal eye of enlightenment. So when he's talking about Israel anymore, you got to transliterate it the royal eye of enlightenment, because that's what he's talking about. You can be Asha Real, an enlightened royal eye. You can see and read things for yourself. You no longer have to be fooled, but you have to be one with the light, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So there's the words that they tried to kill, but we brought them back to life for all of us. And just a couple piracy of words, then we'll be in the history of the church, and we'll be wrapping it up here. Okay, we'll do one page out of the piracy of words book I'm never going to publish, and we'll just do the oral version. So the word revised anagram, drone. Okay, drone is a reverse anagram. Also Dr. 1, interesting. Enord, for enemy ordnance. Okay, so enemy ordnance is drone backwards, and isn't that what they use those drones for? To fire their weapons, right? And kill innocent people. They don't even know who they are in another land, and they can do it right from Washington, from the Pentagon. 2, Dr. 1. C, town of West Texas. There's where they fired a drone ordinance. Yeah, blew up the fertilizer plant. Want us to think it was fertilizer that blew up, and it was a military bomb 2 days after the Boston Marathon, because everybody was figuring out that the Boston Marathon was a false flag, and so they had to have a diversion. So they just decided to blow up the town of West Texas and level the town and kill dozens of people, and then everybody forgot about the marathon because of what happened, in the town of West Texas. See, the town of West Texas and the fertilizer plant that was on fire was hit by a drone that leveled the town, all to create a diversion from the 2-day earlier, April 15th, 2013 Boston Marathon. False flag, government-controlled and staged event. No one was killed or injured at Boston. It was a Hollywood bomb and a stunt. The CFR, Zionist media and officials, Freemasons, all the way up to the governor and false president are in on the scam against the enemy that are going to be dealt with. That's the American labor no longer needed people. That's right, your labor is no longer needed, slaves. So now you are going to be put in the cannon for fodder. And flour, interesting, cyber code for the flow of war. Smells so nice. I just love the smell of napalm in the morning, don't you? See, piracy of words, garden. A drone is just a banquet, a bouquet of them. A drone is just a bouquet of them. I was definitely sarcastic in a lot of this writing when I wrote it. And garden, okay, well, we know that garden is the ganun, okay, the place of war. Okay, but the word garden, because gar is war, and den means judgment, so it's a place of war, the war of judgment. And see Bombay doors, India, bombs away, open them Bombay doors, right? We talk about how India is behind all that's going on. There we got Bombay, right? Bombay doors. And flour, and then there's a town, the flow of war. Therefore, flour is the flow of war. And combat, there's a town, that's another town in India called Combat, and that's what they say we do when we go to war. We're in combat. So they got Bombay and they got Combat. That's where the words originate, and get the picture. Even the word bat for Batman comes from Hindustan, okay? So they're just having a party on all of us, and we'll pick it up with Batman. next time, ladies and gentlemen, stand by for the broadcast. Okay? And so now we're in the last segment of our program here. Are we having fun yet, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. So, Ninja, you've always got something to say. All right. And all right. So we're on the book of the history of the church, and by Eusebius. I think he was a sellout in the end, unfortunately. But oh, and don't forget, we do take Skywatcher reports, and we have uh, anyone that wants to bring on a great live history, or if you know about a word that they killed or they killed us with, you can call in 608-566-7295. You never call in, that's your problem. 608-566-7295. And so we're on a story about John the Apostle. Yalganun the Royal Malik. Yalganun the Royal Malik. That's John the Apostle. How they changed our Shavuos, ladies and gentlemen. In Asia, moreover, there still remained alive the one who Yeshua loved. The royal. That's because they were boyhood friends, and they don't tell us that story either, but we get it in the original gospel. They were boyhood friends. That's why they were, he loved him so much. Let me try again. Whom Yeshua loved, the royal Malek, and evangelist like John, and who had directed the circle of the perfect called out ones, churches, since his return from exile on the island following Domitian's death. That he survived so long is proved by the evidence of two witnesses who could hardly be doubted, ambassadors as they were of the orthodoxy of the church, Irenaeus and Clement of Alexandria. In Book 2 of his Heresies Answered, Irenaeus writes, all the clergy of Asia came in contact with Yalkanun, the healer's truth seeker, and declared that Yalkanun taught, plowed and planted the truth in them, for he remained with them till Tarjan's time. In Book 3 of the same work, he breathes the same thing. The perfect circle of the called out ones, the church at Ephesus, was founded by Shaul, Paul, and Yalganun, John, remained there till Tarjan's time. So she is a true witness of what the royal Malek plowed and planted, taught. Clement, in addition to indicating the death, adds a story that should be familiar to all who like to hear what is noble and helpful. It will be found in the short work entitled The Rich Man Who Finds Salvation. Turn up the passage and read what he writes. Let me take a sip here. Hang on. Listen to a tale that is not just a tale, but a true account of Yalkanun, the royal Malek, handed down and carefully remembered when the tyrant was dead, and Yalganun had moved from the island of Patmos to Ephesus. He used to go, when asked, to the neighboring districts of the common people, sometimes to appoint bishops, sometimes to organize whole circles of the called out ones, sometimes to ordain one individual of those pointed out by the great breath. So it happened that he arrived at a city not far off, named by some called Smyrna, by some Smyrna, and after settling the various problems of the brothers, he finally looked at the bishop already appointed and indicating a younger he had noticed, of excellent physique, attractive appearance, and ardent spirit, he breathed, I leave this young blood of the earth in your keeping, with all earnestness, and in the presence of this perfect circle of the called out ones, and the Mashiach as my witness. When the bishop, that's Pathfinder, when the Pathfinder accepted him and promised everything, Yalganun addressed the same appeal and adjuration to him a second time. He then returned to Ephesus, and the cleric took home the youngest entrusted to his cave, brought him up, and kept him in company, looked after him, and finally gave him the grace of baptism. After this, he relaxed his constant care and watchfulness, having put upon him the seal of the healer and pure breather of light as the perfect protection. But the youngster, snatched at liberty too soon, was led sadly astray by others of his own age who were idle, dissolute, and living in blindness. First, they led him on by expensive entertainment, and then they took him with them when they went out at night to commit robbery. Then they urged him to take part in even greater crimes. Little by little, he fell into their ways, and like a hard-mouthed, powerful horse, he dashed off the straight road, and taking the bit between his teeth, rushed down the precipice the more violently because of his immense vitality, completely renouncing Yahweh's salvation. He was no longer content with petty offenses, but as his life was already in ruins, he decided to commit a major crime and suffers the same fate as the others. He took these young renegades and formed them into a gang of bandits, of which he was the mastermind, surpassing them all in violence, cruelty, and bloodthirstiness. Time went by, and some necessity having arisen, Yolkanun was asked to pay another visit. And when he had dealt with the business for which he had come, he breathed, "Come now, Pathfinder, pay me back the deposit which the Mashiach and I left in your keeping, in the presence of the perfect circle of the called out ones, church, over which you preside as my witness." At first the Pathfinder was taken aback, thinking that he was being dunned for money he had never received. He could not comply with a demand for what he did not possess, nor refuse to comply with Yolkanun's request. But when Yolkanun breathed, "It is the young man I am asking for, and the soul, the serpent owl of our brother," the old man sighed deeply and then shed a tear. "He is dead." "How did he die?" "He is dead before our great Olofheim. He turned out wicked and profligate. In short, a bandit. And now, instead of the perfect circle of the called out, he has taken to the mountains with an armed gang of men like himself." And the royal Malak rent his garment and groaned out loud and beat his head. "A fine guardian," he cried, I left of a brother's soul. However, let me have a horse immediately, and someone to show me the way." And Yolkanun, he galloped off from the perfect circle of those people there and then and there, and just as he was. When he arrived at the place and was seized by the bandits' sentry group, he made no attempt to escape and asked no mercy, but shouted, "This is what I have come for. Take me to your leader." For the time being, the young blood of the earth waited, armed as he was, but as Yolkanun approached, he recognized him, and filled with shame, turned around to run. But Yolkanun ran after him as hard as he could, forgetting his years and calling out, "Why do you run away from me, youth, from your own father, unarmed and very old? Be sorry for me, youth, not afraid of me. You still have hopes of life. I will account to the Mashiach for you. If need be, I will gladly suffer your death, as the healer and pure breather of light suffered death for us all. To save you, I will give my own life. Stop now. Listen and follow. The Mashiach sent me. When he heard this, the young man stopped and stood with his eyes on the ground. And then he threw down his weapons, and he trembled and began to weep bitterly. When the old blood of the earth came up, he flung his arms around him, pleading for him with groans as best as he could, and baptized him a second time with his tears. Baptized him a second time with his tears, but keeping his right hand out of sight. But Yalganun solemnly pledged his word that he had found pardon for him from his Shavor, his Savior. The eye he created light, knelt down and kissed that very hand as being cleansed by his rebreath, the rebreath of a star. Then the eye he brought him back to the perfect circle of the called out and interceded for him with many prayers of light, shared with him the ordeal of continuous fasting, slowing, brought his mind under control by all the enchanting power of the pure shavors, the burning swords of fire, the word, and did not leave him. We are told till he had restored him to the perfect church, giving a perfect example of true rebreath of a star and a perfect proof of regeneration, the trophy of a visible resurrection in the Mashiach when he came back from death. This story from Clement I have included both for its historical interest and for the benefit of future readers. And when we pick it up tomorrow, we'll be in the order of the Gospels, the star message of light, right here on the Forbidden History series. And you just got the Forbidden History, ladies and gentlemen. It's what they didn't want you to know, that we tell right here every day on the Forbidden History series. I want to thank you all for stopping by and being a part of making history, because that's what we are doing. It's looks like the end of our world as we know it, and I guess we get, our world got everything it deserved with such insanity. It's just sad for the good people who wake up and actually care. But we're on our own. But the good news, we're not alone, ladies and gentlemen, because the Mashiach came back. People are still waiting for Yeshua to come back, and they don't get it. They were fooled by the manipulations of the Vatican control. Yeshua is here. He's alive and well. He's breathing before all of us. He rose from the dead. He's the comeback kid. What better comeback can there be than rising from the dead? He even said before he was buried, it is finished. The operation of soul novation and regeneration is here. He has nothing left to do but to fill you with the great breath of the wind and fire. First with the tree of knowledge, which then will lead you to the root of life, the same tree. It's one tree. One is hiding. One is visible. You got to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Yah for special read today. Thank you, Ninja and Lynn, for all of your participation. And Mew Mew, everybody. Okay? I'm Desert Owl telling you, don't forget, if you're wanting to know the future and where we're going, where we need to be going, then you just look for the Forbidden History series right here. Every day coming your way. Just check your schedule, because I'm not sure tomorrow, what day whether it's early or late. Well, you'll get the notice. Okay, hope you're subscribed. Just look for the Forbidden History, will you? I'm Desert Owl, thanking you for tuning in. Thanks for being there. Thank you for your love, for your prayers, and don't forget those who had a request today to include them in your creation of light as well. Be safe out there. The sun is hot. Stay out of the sun. Thank you, Ash. And thank you, Yah. Yah love. We need an explosion in thinking. Be well.